official nominee for Secretary of the Department of Getting It On, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the church. Get it on. Jeff Dye, very funny comedian and actor, back in studio. Mayhem, hanging out. Going to be doing some news and cracking wise. Good to see you again, Jeff.
Good to see you, my man.
Congratulations on the special.
Thank you very much.
Cowboy in L.A. It's available now on YouTube, and it is very funny. And where'd you film it?
We filmed it in Nashville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this music venue, and they're gonna hate that I forget the name of the music venue right now.
I forget the name of every venue I've ever been at. Because I guess it's a thing, but to me, when it happened already, then I don't need to know.
Yeah.
So then we move forward versus people that are really mired in dates and times of things.
Not that guy.
Not that guy.
Yeah.
I think that's good. But so I'll tell you the worst guy in the world. Worst guy in the world is pulls the ponytail through the hole in the ball cap guy. That's the worst guy.
That sucks, yeah.
Second worst guy is dates guy. I buried my oldest son December 22nd, 1987. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, all right. I don't know what I sorry I didn't celebrate.
I'll put it on my calendar.
I think was that a Wednesday this year? So I think I was at work, but next year I'll sit and shiva. Don't give me your dates. I have no idea what my
I sometimes don't remember the comedy club until I get there. People go, "Have you played this like 3 times?" I go, "Oh, I have," and I don't really recall anything. Then once I walk through the lobby and I get to like the actual club in the green room or whatever, I'll go, "Oh," and I can tell you 20 things that happened at that club. I need to see. I actually can't remember which improv is gone now. I get Brea, I get Irvine, I get them all kind of mixed up, and one of them's gone, and I don't even know which one it is because I'd have to walk into it to remember it.
I'm told the Electric Jane.
That's it, the Electric Jane. Yeah, that's it.
Also, that's
nice.
on,
Whoever gave it.
That's
nice.
on
Thanks,
them.
Joe.
That's on them because that's not that easy to remember.
I know, and it's a music venue, so who really? People aren't going to go. Oh, I'll go see some more comedy there. But a beautiful venue.
And dates: Hyenas coming up Fort Worth. That'll be November 21st, 22nd. Hyenas in Dallas, so we know where you're at.
Yep, and Fort Worth on Thursday. Yeah.
And Funny Bone coming up in Omaha, Nebraska, 29th through the 30th. Traveling, doing shows. Seeing the country, how do you feel about it?
I'm really grateful.
Good.
I love it. The caveat is that I don't have a girlfriend or a wife or kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of my peers feel guilt about being on the road because people are giving them a hard time. They're going, my wife is mad at me, or like, oh, I've got to FaceTime my girlfriend all the time. So I'm pretty lucky in that way. But it is getting a little wearing now that I have a nice home. I want to enjoy my nice home, and it's hard because I'm gone.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I grew up in squalor, and so staying in a hotel room seemed really good because they had 2 sheets.
Yeah.
You know, they had a lower one and then the one that goes through like a little pita bread. And everything was nicer because I grew up in a shack, so everything was nicer.
Yes.
And then I got rich and I got nice shit. And then I started going on the road, and then I'm like, now I don't want to be away from my nice stuff because the stuff I left is much better than the place I'm going to versus having, like I just said, like wall-to-wall carpet, a color TV and stuff. But then I got older and I started really thinking about the gift that is seeing all of the country.
Yeah,
places
I like that.
you would never go if this wasn't your job.
It's funny that you just put that together because that's absolutely it. My parents were broke, and then I lived in a car for a little while chasing this dream of comedy. So staying on the road meant I didn't sleep in a car, or I didn't have to hook up with a girl to sleep in her bed, or I didn't have to like ask a buddy to crash on his couch till morning. And that's what it was. But now that my home is nicer than the hotel, I'm going, when do we stay home? I just did Harlan Williams. I was at his beautiful home, and I go, how often are you on the road? And the only reason I was asking is because I was like, if I had a home,
you were looking at the view.
In the home. Yeah.
You were looking at the view from Harlan's place, right?
Tub,
sitting in a hot tub, looking at the view. Yeah, that's why maybe you should have a comforter that's made out of human hair at home. It's almost biblical.
Definitely never considered this.
Well, here's my pitch. You have a discomfort at home so that you appreciate the road.
Thank God for the Holiday Inn. This comforter's perfect.
Well, I will say that I do have a reputation of enjoying the road more than other comics. And that's just optically that other comics will see like my stories on Instagram or whatever. And they'd be like, wow, you really go do all the things. So like during the day, I think a lot of comics before me, kind of like the generation before me and the generation, they might be like, it's so depressing on the road. I just sit in the hotel and I do drugs and things. And I'm like, yeah, but if you get out of the hotel and go do like a baseball game or go see whatever president's museum is there or whatever, like just go do all that stuff, you'll have good material, but then also you're enjoying the travel part of it. And I do that probably more than most comics I know.
What's the best thing that you did on the road recently?
Sports stuff, you know? Like, yeah, I'm trying to think what a good one was.
I'll buy you a minute by telling you, I think it's sort of a duty to do it. Like the people who go to Paris and then eat at McDonald's. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck? I like McDonald's. It's like, I like McDonald's too, but you have a civic, you're not in Glendale. You have a civic duty to taste the cuisine, you know?
What, Le Big Mac is not good enough for you?
No, what I'm saying is like...
I agree with you.
You go somewhere, like... I go to Oklahoma City. I want to see the blown up federal building.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's morbid and it's weird, but how often am I in Oklahoma City?
It's still there,
and it's right up the street. Well, there's a plaque in a park.
And also they'll say, like, sometimes they'll be like, we're going to take you to this tiny dive bar, Jeff. You don't want to see that tourist crap. And I'm like, I am a tourist.
Right.
Show me the tourist crap. I want to see all the things. Keith Robinson, do you know the comedian Keith Robinson?
I know the name.
Very funny guy, like brilliant comedian, one of the tough crowd guys. So I really looked up to him even before I was in comedy. He was telling me the story that like Seinfeld will take him. Him and Mario Joyner and all of his openers, and they'll be in like Rome, and he's like, and he used that specific place, Rome, and he goes, man, I don't give an F, dude. I don't give an F, man. I went to McDonald's. I was like, just call me when it's showtime, man. I don't need to see all this crap. And I'm like tearing with laughter because I think it's hilarious that he just doesn't care, opposite of the idea, but it is funny. And then I go, Keith, you know the expression "when in Rome"?
Right.
Like, he didn't even intentionally use that as the example, but like he's just like, I don't care. I don't want to see any of that crap.
When in Rome, I take my ass to Starbucks.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He goes, I don't care to see it. Where I am the opposite, but I did find it very funny.
I agree. It's a gift, and there are certain gifts that are chosen, and then certain gifts that are imposed. And what I'm saying is this. I have written 7 books. The only reason I've written 7 books is because somebody came to me and said, I will pay you to write a book. I would never in a million years just write a book. I don't have that much discipline. I grew up sort of functionally illiterate. I'm the last person in the world, second to last, Mayhem may be last, who should be writing a book. But somebody came to me and said, I'll give you a ton of money to write a book.
Sure.
And thus I was forced to write a book. Now I'm an author, and I'm glad I wrote the book.
Sure.
But I would have never done it.
You just described parenthood.
Yes, it was imposed. I didn't pull out, and now I have a book.
That's parenthood.
Right.
They literally go, I would never be a dad. And then they're like, it's the most meaningful thing that ever happened to me.
And you would never go to these places in Oklahoma City or Wisconsin
100%.
or whatever. You never go to any of these places, but somebody paid you, and you got on an airplane, and you went there, and maybe you would have rather been in New York, or maybe you would have rather been in San Francisco or LA or something, but you want to bumfuck Wisconsin because they paid you, and then when you were done, you were happy you could say you saw that place and you got the vibe.
All right, top of your head, coolest thing in a janky town.
Like, I actually noticed that comics will sometimes see something I do on the thing, and they'll be like, oh, where was that? I'm going to do that. Great example was last time I was in Tulsa, which was just a few weeks ago. One of the comics was just rambling in the green room about how Sam Kinison is buried there.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, can we go tomorrow? He goes, sure. I go, pick me up, we'll get coffee, and we'll go. And we went and visited Kinison's. I don't go to a lot of cemeteries. That was like very unusual, but it was like really kind of fun. I was like, we should do more of this, see where people are buried. And now I've seen a few comics since go to Kennison's just in the last few weeks.
Oh my God, bro.
That's a fun one.
You didn't scream it. Didn't he have a bid with like, I'll piss on your grave?
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know if
I
he
would have
did that.
done that
You didn't
100%.
piss on the grave bed?
He did.
Oh. Yeah, when I was in...
I left a pen. I left one of the pens that I've had
Nice.
in like all 50 states. I just kind of put it on there.
Nice.
And I bet they cleared it. Like someone left garbage on Kennison's thing. But like, I thought as a comedian, he'd appreciate that a pen was there.
For sure.
I went to Jim Morrison's grave in Paris, and I saw the catacombs where all the skulls and bones are buried out
Sick.
there in the same general vicinity. Like, yeah, don't go to the Starbucks. Go to the catacombs.
Something cool. Just, I mean, also like it's pretty easy to impress me, you know. So like, as far as we're just trying to make the best of me and my buddy Ari, who's watching right now. We were like, we're gonna go to Pasadena. What's some Pasadena things we can do? We'll leave early. We'll go to Pasadena, and so I guess I'm just always kind of looking for some opportunity to have like make the best of it.
No, look, it probably speaks of a positive mental attitude versus I'm just going to lock myself in my hotel room and see if I can beat off 3 times without pulling a calf
and
muscle.
you can,
Yeah. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
It's healthy.
You seem like you're in a good place. You're sober now.
Yeah.
You had a situation.
Yeah, it was
drove
very
your car.
embarrassing. Yeah.
Well, I figured you talk about it in your stand-up, so
talk
I
about
figured
it, yeah.
we can
Yeah, we
talk
can talk about
about it
anything.
here.
Yeah.
You got a DUI in the morning,
Yeah.
which I was kind of impressed by. But it says out of control, but it's also like impressive. Like if somebody said, this guy got arrested, what happened? He punched a cop's horse.
Right.
You go,
Yeah. Wait. What?
wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
out of control, but it's also kind of fucking badass.
Yeah.
Anyone can get a DUI at 2 a.m. coming home from the Christmas party,
8:30.
but 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, 9 a.m. That's a good time for a DUI.
Yeah.
Mine was a little crazy. So I slept for I think like 8.5, 9 hours. So what I would do is I would just drink with all my buddies, but a lot of my buddies will do cocaine, and so they're up all night.
Yeah.
And then since I'm a drunk, I would just go to sleep.
Right.
And then I would feel like FOMO, you know, like fear of missing out. I'm hearing all my buddies downstairs having a great time, and I'm going, I'm missing out on this. So what I started doing towards the end was like popping pills to try to stay awake while I'm drinking. But now I'm just blacked out. I don't remember any of the things. So I was doing this towards the end of my drinking times. And I hadn't seen my ex for like 2 years, and she was like, "I'm in LA. Let's get coffee."
Is that Kristin Cavallari?
Yeah, and I just hadn't seen her, and so dumb, stupid Jeff's like, maybe she'll fall in love with me again, and maybe we'll be back
You guys
together,
dated
know.
earlier
And
for...
we didn't even really date. I'm gonna say that publicly. She made me think that I might have a chance with her, and there wasn't a million. She treated me like a little puppy. You know, like I'm thinking I'll fly to Nashville and hang out with you, and in her mind, it's nothing to her. It was a lot to me. I believed I was in love, and boy, am I a fool.
All right, well, hold on. Let me see if I can unpack this a little bit, because I watch a fair amount of TMZ.
Okay.
Now, she is one of these people that is kind of just known for being hot, even though she was on TV shows, but like me, kind of known for just being hot. You know,
Yeah,
We
just
really
like
know
you.
Just a smoke
where
show.
we know him from.
Just like
He's
Adam
just
Carolla.
hot.
She's often compared to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everyone talks about it.
Paisan. Come on, Carolla,
Oh,
Cavallari.
the female Adam Carolla, big whoop.
So she's on, you know, the hills or the Nile or she's on one of these shows, but she's just kind of known for being good looking.
Sure.
Now, right? And then she had a younger boyfriend more recently,
Yeah.
I think.
I do my best to avoid anything with. I mean, this is shocking. I'm even talking about it because I try to avoid all of it.
Well, you're
but I can't.
healthy.
I can speak to.
Well, see, Joe, see if she recently broke up with her significantly younger sort of boy toy, good looking man-child boyfriend, because I'm trying to establish a pattern.
Oh, interesting.
She may be like an apex predator.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
there are a handful of chicks that are wired like dudes.
For sure.
Just a handful. Like,
I met him.
I was a fool, dude.
Megyn
I
Kelly.
literally was like,
That's
this
a
could
dude.
be a girl I could commit to and
Right.
fall and be in love
Right,
with. And
but you're
since
just-
I don't have kids, I could be the dad to her 3 kids. I was such a bitch, dude.
How long
And
ago was this?
This was during COVID, so
Oh, okay.
real drunk Jeff, mental breakdown Jeff.
Right.
But also, here's the thing. It wasn't real. I wasn't with her. Like, it was all, I was a distraction for her messy divorce. And I respected her privacy. I didn't go to TMZ. I didn't talk to anyone. She was with Jay Cutler.
Oh, Jay
But they were going
Cutler,
through a
right.
messy divorce.
Right.
And she used me as like a distraction. I'll let this guy come to my house once a month and we'll hang out. And he's funny and he has got a good attitude. And I'll use him for that. But I'll still be DMing people. And I'll still be having my cocaine parties with so-and-so. I was just this...
Yeah, I
this
get it.
Distraction.
Well-
but I fell in love with nothing. It was all a joke to her.
So I think she broke up with her boyfriend a month ago, or 24-year-old boyfriend.
Yeah.
If you show a picture of this guy, you'll kind of go, oh yeah, she's got a
I was a
theme.
joke to her.
But this, you need kind of the shirt off version of this.
Well, no, I get it. He's a hot
You
guy.
get it. Right. And
Yeah.
I don't know how old she is, but
Right.
10 years older than he is, or
Who knows? Who
he's
cares?
24. Okay, but so let's just unpack this.
Yeah. So,
Men, I
go
do
ahead.
not blame men who get used this way
Right.
because it's so unconventional, you don't really see it coming. Like, I wouldn't blame a guy who said, I was just walking down the neighborhood in Manhattan and this Asian woman punched me in the face. Because you go like, oh,
Who
it's
would've
not,
thought?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's not, they don't do a lot of
Oh,
that.
you met my ex then.
Yeah, we're looking at the guy. That
Right.
seems about right?
Right.
Like
Oh,
real boy
100%.
toy, buff, young dude. So
Yeah.
women can take advantage of this and catch you off guard because you think it's always the reverse.
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy's got a few ladies on the side.
Sure.
He's just using her. He's telling her whatever she wants to hear, but he just likes the sex.
Right.
When it's the other way around, guys get caught off guard.
I couldn't believe it.
Because you think 9 times out of 10, when a woman is having sex with you, it's like there's something.
Yeah.
She means something.
well, she would love bomb me, right? So she
Right.
would be like super, super like, I don't want you to see anyone else. Like you're my boyfriend, blah blah blah. And then like 3 days later, it's like one word replies to texts, and I'm sensitive to this. She was going through a really like difficult time in her life or whatever. But like I'm just sitting there thinking this is gonna be it.
Right.
And I was literally nothing to her.
See, I already been
Right.
through that, so I'm suspicious by nature. I would have just been
this is
already.
my first time.
Yeah, well, welcome
I'm the
to
only
the club,
dummy
bud.
who falls in love at 38. You know, it was very foolish.
Yeah, I got that too, I think,
Yeah.
once. Well, look, okay, a couple things. If the chick is a really hot blonde, and the chick who did this to me was a really hot blonde, and your station in life is not mega producer
Yeah.
or owns an airline.
Yeah, I wasn't the quarterback for the freaking
Right,
Bears.
something like that. Be suspicious because they,
Yeah.
if they're
should've been,
they're
yeah.
kind
It
of
was
slumming
dumb.
it.
Yeah.
They're
She was slumming it with me. Like I was easily the least famous person she's ever been with, and in her mind, that I'm like disposable. I'm nothing to her because she only. A lot of women, it's not just her, that they don't care.
See, but she red pilled you. She did you a favor. Now you can ascend even
Oh, for
higher.
sure. No, I
Next
do feel
time
better.
you come here,
She's
you'll be like,
nothing in my mind anymore. Like I really believed this was like I would defend her. People say, "Hey, tell us this thing." I go, "Whoa, why would I talk about her in public? That's terrible." But now it's like big.
You're free.
You don't care about me at all. You're very insensitive.
well, don't let it embitter you forever.
no, I'm not
you
bitter.
get- okay.
I feel good.
No, I feel liberated.
I feel liberated. Yeah,
There you go.
100%.
Well, you seem like turn something bad into something good.
Yeah.
You finally told your dad you were gay.
Yeah, got it out.
And
Got it out.
You didn't win a Cadillac. You just told me you're gay, but you
Yeah.
feel free.
I hate this analogy because it makes me a gay guy.
It does. So you are going to see her after a year, and
I haven't even spoke to her in forever.
and you still you're hanging on to the hope that there may be some reconciliation.
Yeah, because I would only reach out to her like if I was hammered. You know, I'd be
Right.
like at a bar at 2 a.m. be like,
Right.
see what's going on. I got no fear here. And then in the morning,
right.
like, can't believe I reached out to her. So it was
Right.
very embarrassing, drunk behavior. But so then she was like, I'm in LA. I'm doing my podcast or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, you want to get coffee? And she's like, sure. Which, like, if you listen to her podcast, she's like, She's like, I don't even know why I did it. Like, I don't even know why. Oh, so sorry, I'm such a loser. You can't even get coffee with me.
I love women's version of almost everything.
It's so hurtful.
It's also weird, too. Like, they tell the story that doesn't make sense. Like, I fucked this guy. I don't even know why. It's like, well, I don't know. You did it. He didn't hit you with the...
Also, am I that much of a loser? You can't get coffee with me?
No.
I would say...
To protect her ego.
She goes, he asked me, so like I said I would. And you're like, I'm sorry that I'm such a piece of garbage.
Yo, bro,
what a charity coffee you gave me.
God came down from heaven and stopped those motherfucking bullets.
Oh,
like you
my
got,
God.
look, you like learned like I gotta quit drinking. And
I know, 100%.
And you missed that chick all at one time.
100%. Like, but it was literally like she was like, I don't even know why I agree. And then he like made me go to Burbank. So I'm sorry. I guess because Burbank's beneath her.
Right.
So, anyways, I'm the night before. I even told like an Uber driver drunk. I was like, dude, I'm gonna see my ex. Like maybe things will get. So, anyways, I go to bed at like 1 a.m. and then like a drunk idiot, I sleep through my alarm. Mm-hmm. So she's FaceTiming me like, where are you? Like I'm at the coffee shop. And I was like, so like I jump in my car, I drive as fast as I can, but I feel fine. I've had mornings like this every day of my life for 20 years. So I lose control and I crash into a tree. And in the moment of crashing into the tree, I was like, all the things I'm about to say happened in like 1 second. I was going, holy crap. This isn't one of these crashes where you can back out and drive. This is a big crash. And then I was like, oh, also like they're gonna start asking questions like, were you drinking last night? How'd you lose? And all these happen in such a quick moment that I've always been a runner, right? Like my whole life. You break a window playing baseball, you run. You know, someone says the cops are coming, you run. You get in a fight, like teachers are here, you run. I've just always been a runner.
I know.
Even metaphorically, like I'll just run from relationships, all these different things. So I just ran. I ran to the coffee shop, which was like almost 2 miles away. And I get there, my adrenaline's pumping, and
Good cardio.
Oh my gosh, she's like, hey, and I was like, hey. I just act like it was no big deal because I don't know how to explain.
My man, like
what just
James
happened.
Bond.
It's also the coffee shop that I go to super often, which is the only reason I recommended it. Because you go into a place that everyone like treats you like the man if you go there all the day. So I wanted her to see me as like the man, like oh my baristas and what's up everybody. So then I order my coffee and we're sitting there. I had only seen her and the baristas that I know for about 3 minutes before cops come into the coffee shop and they're like, hey, did you drive here? And I'm like, huh? Like, and I don't know how to lie. What do you mean? Just kind of like turn my back to him. He's like, hey man, let's go outside. And I was like, huh? Like, what's going on? Like, I just played dumb. And of course, that was a little scuffle with those guys. And then, so now
was it a scuffle?
I wanted them to move it down the road.
You don't want to do this in plain sight.
In front of my ex, who I'm still in love with.
Is embarrassing.
And then in front of the baristas who know me.
Right.
And also that coffee shop, everyone in that coffee shop is keenly aware of who I am. Not my comedy or career or anything, but I just go in there so often that they see me all the time. So now they're looking out the window, like, what's going on? Let's go down the road. And the cop's like, hey, man, don't get froggy on me. And I'm 6'5", so he's a shorter cop. And so it was just kind of this whole thing. And then I'm going, and it was just a whole thing. So then I get arrested. I get the DUI. And everything was fine.
Now, why did you get the DUI if you're drinking the night before?
Well, I passed, and this is up for debate. The next part I'm going to say is up for debate. I believe I passed the field sobriety tests. And then he goes, "Do you mind blowing?" And I go, "I'd rather not. What if we're just going to do those? If we're going to blow,
Just
why
say
do we do
no.
the tests? Why are we doing the tests if we got to blow?"
So you didn't blow into the breathalyzer.
I did blow in the breathalyzer.
You did,
and it was way over.
Oh, it was way over.
Way over, yeah.
Still 8 hours later.
And so then I had to go to the
So
clink.
you didn't drink that morning?
No.
Really?
No, the night before, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it was way over.
But you were going ham the night before. That's
every
why.
night. But my tolerance is so high.
Yeah.
Like people, and that isn't like a brag. Like I'm the life of the party.
No,
I'm the cool
it
guy,
just
but
happens.
Like when you drinking whiskey, like a bottle of whiskey a night minimum, your tolerance can get pretty high, especially for a big guy. And so, it was just over. Also, here's the worst part. After I got out, it was the lowest moment of my life. I've never felt more humiliated.
How long were you in the tank for?
15 hours.
Okay.
Also, like, I don't ever want to use the term PTSD loosely. I know you're really respect military and you're actually a fighter. I don't want to loosely use the word PTSD, but I had some low-level PTSD getting out of jail. I'm not cut from that cloth. like when I got out, I was like pretty like.
Buddy,
rattled
any
by it. Like,
amount
it
of jail
scared me.
time is traumatic.
Yeah, and I'm not like a fight
People
guy.
don't realize
I'm like
it,
a smiley top guy. And it really shook me. Like, I thought I was going to get beat up. And then there was like a homeless guy in there that kept hitting his head on the glass until he would break open.
Wow.
And the people that are in the jailers, like, they don't deal with things right away. And I'm going, I'm in a cube with this guy. It was very, very scary. So anyways, I'm like, I got to figure out the court issues, the DUI issues, the things. And then she goes on her podcast and talked about it.
Well,
she shared
Gotta use
photos
that
of my
ammo.
crashed
What?
car.
No.
She
Really?
talked about me like I was a loser with her co-host. All these things. So now it's in the.
do you? Sorry for doing this.
Yeah. What's up?
I get mad at the people who are the enablers. Like, I'll have a podcast where someone will be talking shit about me, but the partner should be going, well, I know you're talking a lot of shit about the guy, but we are in the studio. He built you.
Right.
So there's got to be something. But they just keep rolling with
Right.
it. Like, my thing is, like, I'm not here to deny, but I am here to be the voice of the person who's not in the room and try to offer some defense for this person. Like, a lot of people go, this guy comes up, calls me a prick for no reason. No reason, just walks by. I go, no reason? Okay, I was blocking his garage with my car. You know,
That's
you go,
the comedian in you.
Okay, I want to know, though, because as your version of it is so slanted, so tilted, and so one direction. I believe it's the job of the partner or the person that's in the room to be a little devil's advocate and go, well, look.
Here's what she'll say. Here's what she'll say to this.
Right.
She'll go, well, he showed up and he crashed his car. That's what kind of crazy person crashes his car and then comes to the date.
Right.
Or she won't even call it a date, the coffee. Right. So yeah, that is crazy. And probably worth telling the story on a podcast. Imagine showing up for your ex and your ex is just about, you haven't seen your ex for 2 years and then you show up and he gets arrested. Pretty interesting story.
Yeah.
Right.
My argument to that is maybe wait a year or two.
Yeah.
Do you need to tell it right away?
Nah, welcome
I'm still
to content.
in jail and you already can't wait to tell the content. And then the other part I'm going to say that is where she crossed a line was that she talked about me like I was the scum of the earth and not a person that was pretty nice to her. I've never wronged her in any way. I didn't deserve that. And then the other part was she shared photos of it, of my crashed car that I had only sent her on her Instagram and her podcast. Then she goes, well, I didn't say your name. Give me a break. And then the other part I will say that crossed a line is, or not that crossed a line, you might say, well, who cares? You're being a baby about this. Let her do whatever she wanted. It's her podcast. It did happen to her. They used it in court against me.
Oh, her discussion on the podcast?
The state said, according to Kristin Cavallari's podcast, you smelled of alcohol. So she might think, oh God, get over it. I haven't even talked to you for 2 years. I'm banging some 21-year-old now. It broke my life open. And crushed me so low that I've questioned everything. Love, I questioned alcohol, and to her it's nothing. That's a pretty big deal to me.
I think you're going to have a renaissance, not a renaissance. You're going to have the last laugh. Now, because I had this.
Because women age poorly?
Yeah, I had a hot blonde do some version of this with me when I was a struggling comedian. Really had no business sort of slumming it with me, but I had the same feeling.
It's
like,
terrible.
Who is this? And I think she was with some other guys. But later on, once I got a little famous, I circled back. You know? And now the shoe was on the other foot.
Yeah.
Because she hadn't had much success. And then I then had a ton of success. And now I was in the driver's seat. It was good.
And I think that's what people think. I think they think, well, who cares? Who's Jeff Dye? I actually like Kristin Cavallari. She's hot, and she has a great podcast, and she's cool, and she's in the media eye, and she's in TMZ. Who cares about this loser comedian who's an alcoholic? That's good. He could have killed someone. It's deserved, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all. I've read it all. But what we're forgetting is that I'm a person. I didn't deserve that at all.
Well, did you know? So this all popped in my head because I was watching TMZ last night, and she was doing some TikTok thing.
Some bullshit.
I don't what in terms of the trends. You know, it's like, what's the trend this week? Eat one of those Tide Pods. Eat
I wish you
detergent.
would, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. What do we got next week? We're doing the cold dump challenge. We're going to dump a bottle. What are we doing this week? We're talking about guys we fucked. It's like, do you have to go along with everyone?
Yeah. Right.
Maybe
Grow
there's something
up.
you could skip. I know it's something for 14-year-olds.
But how do you stay relevant on TMZ and tell your gay publicist, get me on things, tell them I broke up. Oh, am I with this guy and I'm going to actually enjoy? Tell everyone that it was the best sex I ever had. Oh, now I'm going to Tahiti and I'm going to be seen with an actor. If you don't have a talent, Adam, you have to constantly tell your publicist, how can I get in the news this week? Oh, did you see that I did the TikTok? I did the TikTok thing. Oh, does that not work? Now I'm a Carolla speaker. Like,
it is interesting.
You need
in
to
that
find a way to be relevant.
But it also has. I'll show you the clip. It's.
I'd rather not see the clip.
You don't want to see the clip? All right, I'll show you the clip.
We're just twisting the knife on this guy.
She slept with Jason Statham, I think was the thing.
Yeah, she did it, 10 years ago? Jason Statham's even like, who is talking about having sex with me?
But can I say this about people, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah. She's going to use this, by the way. This is what's going to be in the thing tomorrow because she doesn't have a thing.
Hi,
I know,
Kristin.
but so let's talk about how you would feel.
Yeah.
Or how. Okay, so let's try to figure this out.
By the way, can I say this is the best conversation we've ever had together?
Good. I like it.
I didn't have to talk about leaf blowers and Pacoima. This has been a treat. I love you.
I love you. And I want to say this. And you guys will both vibe for this for different reasons. I've always been good with my hands because I used to box, and I box a lot, and I taught boxing and stuff like that. And I was always comfortable with people and guys and drunk guys and guys getting in my grill, invading my space and stuff like that. Mayhem knows I grew up with these guys. We fought every day. I didn't even care if someone punched me. I was fine. I felt scared. And then later on, I got into comedy. And I would come into the room with the funny guys, and this guy's the best punch-up guy in the industry, and this guy's this guy, and that guy. And I was like, oh, I'm funnier than all these guys. I always felt that way. And it was based on, like, being funnier than they were, like, in the room, sort of fucking around, on the radio, whatever it was. So I kind of was chill with stuff because I never felt like I was threatened or like some big dude was going to fucking kick my ass or some guy was going to come in and be 10 times funnier than me and show me up, or whatever it was. But not possessing a skill.
Yeah.
Like, there are comedians that aren't really funny.
Right.
And
your
they have
boy,
to,
Jimmy, crying on television, pretty unfunny.
But he is funny as a person.
Used to be,
he is funny. And so he doesn't have that insecurity that you, like, what if you really didn't feel like you were that funny? And what if you did really feel like you couldn't kick anyone's ass?
Imposter syndrome,
And now you're walking around in some weird headspace where you're looking over your shoulder every time a guy comes down the sidewalk. You're like looking over, you're crossing the street, or you wouldn't go on someone's podcast because you feel like you'd be exposed, or something like that. So if you're a male or a female and you possess no discernible talent, like, we don't need you. You're not funny. You're not. You don't have a skill. You don't.
Rattles you.
You don't do MIG or TIG welding. You don't do great custom auto body lacquer spray jobs or anything. You just. I think about these people all the time who walk through life sort of skillless. Like, I talk to Dr. Drew all the time. Dr. Drew's a physician. You know what I mean? I'm a carpenter. I have a skill. Right. You get a certain grounding and a kind of a certain confidence, not an arrogance, but it's like, I possess a skill. I have a field of expertise. Drew has a field of expertise. You get a black belt in Taekwondo. You have a field. You come out with a comedy album. You have a field of expertise. Walking around,
scary.
So many people with, like, I work for the post office and I'm good at nothing. That's got to be a weird position.
I tell my nieces, I don't have kids, so, like, the only time I get to give advice to anyone is, like, some of these little girls, my nieces and my nephew, and I tell them, like, I'm always trying to encourage them. What are you good at? What's your thing? And the reason I say it is because, like, in school, I got to be the funny guy. I've known I'm the funny class clown guy, and I would fight for that position when kids would start to get funny too. I say, hey, I'm the funny guy, because that's you. If once you know your thing, you do get that confidence. You kind of get that. I was like, okay, let the athlete guys be the athlete guys, and really give them the credit. Wow, you lifted that bench press, you know. And in the math class, let the math kids shine, and then that way we can all have our things that we shine in. And like you said, if you don't know and you're just kind of good at a bunch of stuff, and you're kind of
or you're not good at anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think there's a lot of women, especially if they grow up hot, never had to learn a skill. Like if you think about being a hot blonde, that's your job.
I know.
You don't need any vocational training.
Yeah.
And it starts at age 14, 15.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't start when you're 25. Society plucks you out about the 9th grade, labels you hot, especially if you're a hot blonde, especially if you're in this society. Maybe other more evolved societies wouldn't tolerate you just being a dingbat and not learning anything. But because it's funny, there's Canadian hot chicks, and then there's Florida hot chicks. Yeah. Florida hot chicks don't know shit.
Right.
Canadian hot chicks are like, oh, yeah, I have a master's degree. It's like, why are you studying? It's like, why not? In Canada...
Take your hot girlfriend to Spain. Watch how fast her confidence drops.
Right.
Like, oh, boy.
So you have to navigate this life where you don't really possess a viable, discernible, or tangible skill. And that has to give you a weird sense of insecurity, because what you have to do is your skill is trying to be famous.
Right. And
not
that's all
being
it is.
famous. Seth MacFarlane's famous because he has a skill.
Right.
But some of these hot chicks are famous for being hot, and thus must resort
and
to all
also,
of
what's
this.
the pursuit of fame? You have beautiful kids that you could be raising. You have this awesome home. You have a great company where you sell, you know, costume jewelry or whatever. Just live your life.
It's the hot chick industrial complex.
Why do you need every week to be in like this pursuit
She's
of
got
power?
a bunch of sycophants. You said the gay publicist.
Yeah.
Everybody makes a boatload of money propping this hot chick up.
Yes. So why is she surrounding herself with gay guys?
You as content.
Why is she surrounding herself with gay guys?
Well, the same
because
reason
they won't say no. They won't disagree. They're going to go, oh, but you're so beautiful. You're so hot. Like, he is a loser. And if we dated a week later, they'd be like, we've always liked him. We've always liked you. They just support anything she does.
Yeah.
They don't tell her, hey, stupid, maybe don't crush this guy's life. That's what a good friend would do. But instead, it's just encourage the hot chick, because they don't have a paycheck or a podcast without her. And they know she's daddy, so it's this system of like, just build up daddy. Why won't she have a woman in her life? Why won't she have a woman friend? Because the woman friend's going to compete or challenge.
Yeah.
And so it's just surround yourself with a bunch of twinks who are just going to agree with everything you say until the money runs out.
You went to trial on that?
What's that?
You went to trial on that?
What does that mean?
Like, you went to a trial to like fight that DUI, or did you just settle
You
it?
went from
that was-
twink to DUI too quick.
I go, what do you mean? I thought there was some like
No,
slang.
I'm just saying,
I
like
didn't know.
you're lucky that you didn't have to go to trial on all this kind of thing.
I mean, in a way, it was. I mean, they were like determining my punishment, and they were trying to show how reckless I was. Because I'll take full responsibility. It was stupid, and I could have killed someone. I could have killed myself. It was literally the worst thing I've ever went through in my life. But to have to be there and you know, deal with all that it was a lot.
I have another subject, but I think you'll be interested in. I talk all the time about the language and taking control of the language. The left wants to modify everything, and what they do is they do a lot of, you know, they'll take. It started a long time ago. I know it's on Loveline in the 90s. I'd say, were you a rape victim? They go, rape survivor. Ugh. And I'd go, well, what's the difference? And they'd go, I'm taking control of this thing. I'm a survivor. And they would say, I go, are you blind? They'd go, seeing impaired. I'd go, okay, well, that's confusing, because there's like people that are seeing impaired who can drive a car during the daytime, but not at night, so on and so forth. So I was very much like, what are they doing with the language? This is more than 25 years ago. Why they want the language? Well, the language gets controlled, because if you say, I'm against abortion, then you might be a decent person. But if you're against a woman's right to have reproduction rights over her body,
100%.
then that makes you a bad guy. So everything is tweaking. And like I said, it was illegal alien was in this country, was an illegal alien, and then it became like an undocumented alien. And whatever it is they want to do...
Separating families.
Right.
That's just it's a catchphrase.
Right. They first have to label it as something that would be grotesque for you to oppose it. And then once they label that, homeless people should just be called stray junkies. If we called them
drug addicts,
junkies who roam your streets, sometimes possessing weapons like machetes, you'd go, we got to do something about this fucking tomorrow. But if you call them the unhoused community, then your answer is, well, get him a house.
Now you're a jerk.
He's unhoused.
Right.
He needs a house.
100%. You're nailing it.
We're just calling him unhoused. He's a mental patient junkie with a machete.
But it's masked as virtuous.
Right.
Which is the worst part.
Right. So what they do is they keep going, and then you become a bad person because you would like to take people who are illegal aliens in your country. By the way, would anyone make a case for Canada? If I said to the most progressive person, there's this American dude, and he snuck across the border into Canada, and now he's living in Quebec, they'd go, well, certainly Trudeau and Canada have the right to send him back to the United States. You'd go, that's some bullshit, isn't it? And they'd go, no, it's Canada. You're not.
I can't just live in Australia without doing the
he
paperwork.
Snuck into Canada? Yeah, then they should go ahead and take
100%.
him back to cross Niagara Falls.
Also,
and go
let's
back.
be very clear. No one's against immigrants.
No, I know.
Our country's fine with immigrants. We're against illegal immigrants.
Right.
There's a big difference.
But there's all the verbiage.
Yes.
And then the verbiage makes them right. And AOC took the cake. I saw her over the weekend giving a speech because now Trump is talking about deporting. She's still a thing. She's not going to be a thing for that much longer because she's getting a little older and a little fatter.
She's super hot and she's super wrong about everything.
Everything. But here it is.
People talk, especially elected officials, about the issue of undocumented Americans.
All right, pause.
Undocumented Americans.
These are Americans that
They're
are
not Americans.
Well, so everyone from El Salvador and Guatemala is an American the second they set foot in San Diego?
They're not.
Or across the Rio
They're not
Grande?
American.
That's
They're
news.
undocumented people.
Undocumented American sounds like your Uncle Phil lost his driver's license at the airport, and AOC wants to get him a second duplicate license. So, and also, you would be the worst person in the world if you wanted to take the army and train it on undocumented Americans.
Yeah.
But we'll listen to the rest of her speech because it's
Drives me
perfect.
crazy.
It's perfect.
Americans, one thing that we can say is that we agree. Being undocumented is a problem. But our solution, instead of turning the military on our own people, is to document them. To document the undocumented. Woo-hoo! Pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
Yeah,
They're
super
undocumented,
simple.
and now there may have been a flood or fire, and they lost their documents.
Bad ideas are super simple.
But they're Americans, and but see, the verbiage is once we agree on undocumented Americans, then I have an idea. Let's just get them documents, and we could get on with our lives.
Did she misspeak, or was that like, is that a new
calculated,
thing?
That's how she thinks. There's like 15 million people here from other poor countries, and her deal is let's get them a slip of paper and solve the problem.
We are agreeing. You're like, we're not agreeing.
Right. We're not.
I think that I've noticed it. I read a book about this, that it's been happening for the last like 30 years, but I've just noticed it. They'll intentionally label things, this is Black Lives Matter, because if you disagree with what's happening, then it sounds like you're suggesting that Black lives don't matter.
Right.
Oh, anti-fascist. Who isn't anti-fascism? We all are. But now you have to they play these word games, right? So someone will say a thing to you and you go, that's just like Marxism. And they're like, whoa, well, it's not real Marxism.
Right.
Or, oh, we've tried communism. They go, well, they didn't try the type of communism that we're talking. They don't want finite rules.
Right.
I have like a Muslim friend who's like just super like pro-gay, pro all this stuff. And I'm going, but I thought Muslims. And they go, that sounds like your understanding of Muslims is. And you go, oh, well, if we just don't have a definition or words for any of these things and we're just going to play around with it manipulatively, we're never going to agree on anything.
Agreed. Well, we can agree on never agreeing on anything. All right, we take a break. Mayhem's got some news.
Yeah, dude.
And we're going to hang out and do that right after this.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. That's Brad Williams and Jay Leno. Hey, everybody. Over there, we're doing our 3rd annual comedy fantasy camp. That's going to be January 23rd through the 26th, right in Hollywood, California. Where else would it be? These guys are going to be there.
So remember, 2 out of every 3 comics make it big.
Well, 1.5.
Do I get paid for this? Please tell me I get paid for this.
Go to comedyfantasycamp.com and get in on the fun.
Bioptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough. Well, you know, if you're getting enough magnesium, because 4 out of 5 Americans aren't, and that affects your sleep and your mood and all the other things you need. And then your sleep affects your mood. So it becomes a vicious cycle. Since I added Magnesium Breakthrough to my nightly routine, I fall asleep with no problem and I wake up refreshed. Other magnesium supplements might give you 1 or 2 forms of magnesium. Magnesium Breakthrough contains all 7 forms of magnesium. All Bioptimizer supplements are best in class, and you can get a full refund if you don't love it. No questions asked. And if you disagree, they offer a 365-day money-back guarantee. So that's a company that's pretty confident in its product. It's not a 10-day trial exchange. It is a 365-day money-back guarantee. I take it every night before I go to bed. It's a game changer. Buy Optimizers. Am I right, Dawson?
Don't miss out on the most relaxing sleep with Magnesium Breakthrough. For an exclusive offer, go to buyoptimizers.com/Adam and use promo code Adam during checkout to save 10%. And if you subscribe, not only will you get amazing discounts and free gifts, you will make sure your monthly supply is guaranteed.
Well, it's the best time of the year to get some home security going, and that's where Simply Safe comes in. They're giving my listeners early access to the Black Friday sale. That's right. You get in early. Ground floor, Simply Safe's new Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it happens. Right. You don't want to get a busted window, someone in the house, then you find out. Now, this nips it in the butt. If someone's lurking around and acting suspicious, agents see them in real time, talk to them directly, set off a spotlight, even call the police. No long-term contracts. And by the way, I think they use AI to recognize the friendly neighbor or the person that's walking their dog. No long-term lock-in contracts, cancellation fees. It's around $1 a day. That's not much to spend for security. This week, well, you can take 60% off any new system with the Select Professional Monitoring Plan. It's their best offer of the year, and it's all for you. It's Simply Safe, right, Dawson?
Head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
You guys feel like the world's gone crazy, though? Yeah, it feels like the world's gone crazy for sure, dude. Even my friends on the left, fucking banana pancakes. Seriously, they're crazy. They're crazy people. My friends on the right, pretty crazy too. It's true. One side's running around going, oh yeah, what is gender? My friends on the right, they're just all in a different level of weird shit. You know? Buddy Josh is like, Taylor Swift is a robot made by the Fed, sent by the Biden administration. I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
Jeff Dye is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Jeff Dye's got a stand-up special, Last Cowboy in L.A. It's available now as we speak on YouTube. And I'll give you his website, jeffdye.com for dates. Mayhem, you got some news?
Got some news. Fox News host Pete Hegseth has said on air he has not washed his hands for 10 years because germs are not a real thing.
Well, watch the clip.
As I told you, my 2019 resolution is to say things on air that I say off air. I don't think I've washed my hands for 10 years. Really, I don't really wash my hands.
Help me!
No, I inoculate myself. It's not, germs are not a real thing. I can't see them, therefore they're not real.
So you're becoming immune to all of the
exactly.
bacteria.
I can't get sick.
My dad.
No, he's right. He's 100% right. He's 100% right.
Well, I'm glad he's not my physician. I'll tell you that.
Yes. And you can wash your hands, but the over cleanliness thing is an issue. It leaves you vulnerable. It hurts your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I realize when they're taking Pete out, because the plan now is going to be everyone on the left is going to turn these people into crazy people. And they're going to give you their version of these people. And they're going to do what Kristin Cavallari did to you on the podcast. They're going to give you their version of it. As a matter of fact, Joe, I didn't prompt you on this, but I think at the end of 60 Minutes last week, they did a 1-minute sort of synopsis of who everyone was. And what they do is they, so Kennedy... RFK Jr. is not a sort of decorated attorney who's won many cases against Monsanto and other polluters and stuff. He's an anti-vaxxer. Yeah. There are no other
You can't
credentials.
Be a guy that,
if somebody said, who's Adam Carolla? All that guy does, as far as I can tell, is talk shit about Kristin Cavallari. I don't know anything else that guy's done. He just talks shit about Kristin Cavallari. So you could do that, but if you're being for me, you could go, well, he's a New York Times best-selling author, and he's created a lot of TV shows and had a lot of success, and talk shit about Kristin Cavallari. But if you just go talk shit about Kristin Cavallari, they go, well, what's that guy doing trying to host this show or do that show, right? So that's kind of what they
Which is what the left was. Just people who talk trash about Trump. Right. You want to know how you lose an election? Don't tell us anything except obsess about Trump.
What I realized is my lot in life is people say stuff about other people, and I kind of agree with those people, and it happens all the time. It's a chick thing. When my ex-wife's friend once was like, I'll never forget where I was. She was like, it was when Matt Damon got into trouble for saying, look, there's a difference between what Harvey Weinstein did and what Al Franken did. And she was like in my living room, and she goes, Matt Damon, just shut up. And I was like, what do you mean? I agree 1,000%. 1,000%. What are you talking? Just shut up. And I realized, I disagree with stuff people are yelling about.
Yeah. Well,
do not wash your hands. Do not use Purell. Help your immune system. And then I realized it's not just Pete Hegseth. It's RFK Jr. was a big thing a year ago when he's walking through an airplane and went to the bathroom barefoot.
No, I love it.
He was barefoot in the airplane, and everyone was going nuts. They were like, he went to the bathroom barefoot because he understands that he eats roadkill and shit. Like, he understands you got to get in the mud, you got to wrestle around. That's him.
Oh, nice.
Right. And the thing that's always funny about our piece of shit society is like Michael Moore probably thinks that RFK Jr. is nuts, except for Michael Moore's a gelatinous blob of bullshit who's 10 years younger than this guy who can bench 300 pounds.
Yeah, look at his body.
Never fucking sick a day in his life. And we're going, what's he doing, man?
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck he's doing, you should start doing it too, because he's about the most fit 68, 69-year-old I've ever seen. But
even that kind of that little thing, calling him an anti-vaxxer, goes back to the language thing.
Right.
It's like there's some vaccines that are great. You know, if you want to go to Africa, when I went to Morocco, I had to take a bunch of vaccines, or I didn't have to, but I did because they were the medically. You could show me the science on that. Just because he realized that COVID was a coup doesn't mean that he's an anti-vaxxer.
I agree. And by the way, Kennedy, I liked even more this a year ago. Once everyone made fun of him walking through the airplane into the bathroom barefoot, which I fucking love.
Yeah.
Later on, he made a video from the airport addressing it. And they pan down, he was barefoot in the airport. I think this is it, right? He's telling everyone to suck his dick, which I love.
Hey, Harvey and all the gang at TMZ, I want to thank you for all you do to keep
politicians honest and make sure that they comply with all the norms of our society. And even for me, for calling me out on going barefoot on an airplane, that was inexcusable, and I can assure you that will never happen again.
When he's barefoot. I saw that and I was like, I like this guy.
I like it. I like Harvey too. You think Harvey cares? Harvey's like, hey, give me more content.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Harvey it wasn't like Harvey was like, let's
Harvey
get
Levin,
RFK.
yeah.
Like he has the giant news network.
So I realized if you walk into an airplane bathroom barefoot, you think how I think about germs. You don't forget to put your shoes on. No chick I know would ever go barefoot. And you think I got to be exposed to germs. If you're pulling up a bear from the road and throwing it on the roof of your car so you can eat it when you get home, you think how I think about germs. And that's why that guy is strong. So now we got 2 cabinet appointees that don't care about germs. Got Pete and RFK Jr. I think we have that 60 Minutes clip they found, which is funny. I always like also when they go, this guy's got no experience working in government. It's like, that's the plan.
That's what we want.
That's the plan, dude.
This past week, Republicans won the House majority, and President-elect Trump made nominations to his cabinet. Some nominees appear to have no compelling qualifications other than loyalty to Trump. The nominees are Senator Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth to lead the 3 million people of the Department of Defense. He's a combat veteran, most recently a morning show host on Fox News with no government experience. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, in charge of law enforcement. Gaetz has been investigated by Republicans for alleged drug use and sex with a minor. Gaetz denies those allegations. Former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence. She sought a pardon for Edward Snowden, who leaked U.S. secrets and now lives in Russia. And Robert Kennedy Jr. for Secretary of Health and Human Services, a skeptic of vaccinations. It's up to the new Republican majority.
And then there's Adam Carolla, who hates Kristin Cavallari.
RFK, we killed his brother.
That's right. Yeah, he doesn't like the outfit that killed his brother. Well, there you go. That's all they're there. They're all just friends with Trump.
It was a dark and ominous, foreboding type clip right there.
Yeah.
It was very strange how they framed that.
It
was
seems
weird.
to me that Tulsi Gabbard was in the military, but I think they just
they didn't want to call her a veteran.
Forgot about
seems
that
strange.
part. She's just friends with Russia.
Also,
Russia. She loves
also,
Russia.
Tulsi's really liberal. She's hardly a Republican we should be villainizing.
I've interviewed her. She's very bright, very sharp.
Oh, she's so reasonable. And even the farthest left people should be like, well, Tulsi Gabbard's great.
They're still trying to do this Russia thing with her.
I know.
Which is awesome. They never get tired of the Russia thing. All right. Sorry, Mayhem.
Nah, no stress. I love you guys kicking it, cracking wise. 2 Missouri officers asked women for their phones, then stole nude images, authorities say. Yeah, a former Missouri police officer and a former Missouri State Highway Patrol, separate cases, both been indicted. Look, the long and short of it is they took the ladies' phones during traffic stops, stole pornographic movies off of more, and one was a movie, some were nude images of them and other people that they had on the phone, and sent it to their own personal cell phone. One of them got smart and triggered an investigation. And yeah, she realized, wait a minute, someone deleted a message that's sent to a number that I don't know, and found out this guy was sending her nudes to his phone. Yeah.
How? It seems like it should be more difficult to just rip porn, custom porn, off the phone. But also, here's what I was thinking about. We are now in an era where every young, attractive woman at some point is going to have pictures of her at least in a bikini, probably
more than a bikini,
less than a bikini, and possibly footage of her in action.
Sure.
And we're no longer going to have to do that thing that I'm old, and so I grew up in an era where people you know, your grandmother back in the day was quite the looker.
Yeah. Here's a drawing.
Here's a charcoal drawing of your grandmother at 22.
Woo-wee.
All the fellas in the town she lived in, they all came a-courting. You know what I mean? She was, and you're kind of looking at her, and she's kind of pear-shaped and has a hook nose. And you're like, really? Nana was good? Oh, all the boys. We no longer have to take people's word for it. We're going to see actual footage of them fucking.
For sure.
Like, let's say, guys, she was hot. Good. Let's see her ride this dude's cock.
That's the future.
Let's look back at your grandma's OnlyFans.
I've had girls in my DMs be like, want to watch me suck and I'm like, wait, that would be someone else's.
I
sending me
I
this.
say,
Like,
fuck it, send it twice.
That's good. I guess I'll see it, but this is weird.
They would ask.
What's that?
They would ask if you would like to see them blow another guy.
Yeah, because they'll send like pictures and stuff, and then I'll be like, "Wow, this is hot," or like whatever you're saying during a intimate message back and forth, and then she'll be like, "I'll send you a video of me like in action, basically." I'm going, but that'd be some other guy with you. I have to just kind of go, "It's good."
I agree.
Look around the penis.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
like good for this guy.
Yeah. So they're showing you game footage.
Yeah.
Like
well, sometimes I was just saying, like it's happened.
It's happened.
Yeah, it's happened.
There used to be. Now I'm old, but used to rent VHS porn movies, right? VHS rent, and in the back they had those 1-800 numbers, or they'll call me.
Oh, really?
There were phone sex advertisements, and one of them it always burned in my soul because the chick was blowing a guy, and in the middle, like went, "Oh, there you are. Hey, you want to talk? Call. Oh, I'll be waiting on the other line." You know, and it's like, well, yeah, but what about this guy?
What is happening over there?
Well, this guy. It didn't make sense. Even in my young mind, I was like, "You're blowing. Clearly, you're in a committed relationship, and you want to talk to me." And then what about the guy who's getting blown?
Yeah.
He's like, "Who are you talking to?
Yeah, what's going on?
You're telling some guy to call you?
Don't take a call.
What's this camera tripod doing in our bedroom, huh?"
These gals love multitasking.
I know.
They really do.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Do not ask me when you're blowing this guy to call you.
Oh, and also, I am aware that women, especially modern women, are having fun and multiple. I just, have a little couth. You don't have to,
And also, do you really want me critiquing your technique? You know what I mean?
Let me find out, once we're in it.
Yeah. Let's a little less history and a little more mystery, as I like to say.
You don't have to show all your cards.
Yeah, the cops totally figured this out. Like, I don't know. This just lets me know, like, how many more cops have done this. Because if they take your phone, which you should never let it go, and, never let it go to a cop, he can just do whatever he wants. And, this has happened quite a bit.
I think the excuse with the cops now is they want to know if you were texting while driving.
They check that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, if you were texting and you got pulled over 5 minutes later, your phone would know. I think they would know via your phone whether you were texting and driving or not.
Like, the thing is, you're supposed to make them do an investigation. You're supposed to never talk to the cops at all with your thing with the cops.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I have a different background. I don't talk to the cops at all. I don't blow in that thing. Nope. Make me. You can't make me.
I live under the
you'll
same...
lose your license for a year, but it's suspicion of DUI.
I live
DUI.
under the, maybe if I get along with these boys.
No, it doesn't work that way. No. It's an adversarial system. The minute they show up, you're against them.
Unless you did the man show and they like you.
That's true. That might be true, but Bully Beatdown wasn't that big a hit.
All right, what else?
Next up, bro. Breaking news, the Trump dance takes the sports world by storm.
Nice.
I'm sure we got footage, huh? Man, there's
an end
this
zone
past
dance.
weekend,
John
Jones did the Trump dance. It wasn't bad. I think it was a pretty good version of the Trump dance. And all football weekend, everybody was busting the Trump dance.
Yeah.
It's just a whole new era of Trump dancing.
The night after the election, I played the Irvine Improv in Orange County. I did the Trump dance right as I came out.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, bud.
The night, his first set after the election, the Wi-Fi. But I went up there, I did a bad version of it. After I watched my dance, I go, ooh.
I think these guys are doing a terrible version.
They're not doing the right version.
They're not doing the right. The right version is upstairs.
It's
there you go.
Up
It's
and
up,
down.
up.
I think fist out too a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. YMCA.
It is strange that how I was at the day of the election before it was determined. I was at Marmalade, little cute brunch spot with 3 of my buddies, and 2 of them had Trump hats on. They had MAGA hats on, and a woman that was across from us.
In what city?
Sherman Oaks.
Oh wow!
And there was a woman that was looking at them, mouth agape. She couldn't believe the gall on these boys to wear a MAGA hat while she was wearing a Harris Walls shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
But in her mind, they are monsters for wearing that hat. It's like you're both wearing political propaganda.
Right.
You're both wearing the politician thing.
Yeah, the problem is if you're going to veer into a sort of morality lane about, Hitlerian and stuff like that, then in their mind, that's always going to take a front seat to policy. Because if you're really talking about what they're talking about, and if you believe it. Now, most of them don't believe it.
Right.
Morning Joe and Minka wouldn't go to Mar-a-Lago and have brunch with Trump if they believed it. Now, here's how you know they're liars. 100%. Because everyone's going, well, what's Morning Joe and Minka going and breaking bread with Trump that 3 years of talking shit or
calling
9
him
years
Hitler. That's a pretty big thing to call someone.
Right. So here's how you know they're lying. If they believed that he was Hitler when they met him for breakfast, they would have an attaché case with C4 in it, and they would blow up Hitler
100%.
at his lair.
Yes.
But they wouldn't go out there and eat quiche with Hitler. So would be a pretty good name for a comedy special, eating quiche with
Hitler?
Right.
Oh, wow.
But they're lying. Now, their subjects believe them. They don't believe it, right? So who you saw at Marmalade Cafe in Sherman Oaks was a subject of an elite liar.
Yeah.
They don't believe it. None of the elites. Look, Obama doesn't believe it. Biden doesn't believe it. Kamala Harris. None of those people believe it, but the dumb chick from Sherman Oaks does buy into it. And so in her world, you're supporting a Hitlerian monster,
crazy to me.
which would trump any policy because in the face of a Hitlerian takeover, why are we even talking about, like some of the, in Nazi Germany or in Poland when Hitler invaded, what was the corporate tax rate at the time?
Right.
And everyone goes, well, who the fuck cares?
What are you talking about?
He was making ovens and putting Jews in it. But what was the corporate tax rate?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody cared. So if he was that, then your friend is right from the Marmalade Cafe.
Yeah.
But we know they weren't. And so it becomes a weird thing where it's like that person's life will probably improve under Trump because they'll be in a safer environment with less. If that person owns a business, they'll be in better shape because of Trump. California will have less illegals camping in front of her house or business or whatever it is. But that person is almost like a dog that you take to the vet, and the dog is struggling, and you're like trying to hold the dog, and you're giving him an injection, and the dog is squirming. It's like, for your own good. For your own good. And the dog thinks he's going somewhere weird and being stabbed.
It's unreal.
Right? Yeah.
Trump could sneeze, and people go, "Do you see how he sneezed?" Like in my life, I've never seen, and we've had a lot of presidents since I've been alive. I was living in Seattle when George W. Bush was in office. I didn't think it could get more hateful towards a political leader. Trump is the most people can't. He can't do anything.
Well, putting myself in
their
their
now.
Well, put myself in their shoes. What would it take for either of you guys to think, oh wow, this guy is like Hitler? Would he have to like
Hitler?
start locking people up and
He'd have to start.
Well, because he threatened
Couldn't come
their whole
close to
argument.
Hitler.
Well, their whole
the
argument.
worst president in the world isn't Hitler.
Yeah. Their whole argument is that he's going to lock up his dissenters and he's going to lock up the
They're
Democrats.
insane.
They're saying that.
He would have to start doing 1/10 of what they say he's going to do. Now 100%, that would be Hitler. If he did a very small percentage of what they say he's going to do, I would start thinking of him that way. But he's not. What he's going to do is stuff that they're going to spin, like kids in cages and things like
all
that.
This nonsense.
Which is
when
like,
Obama deported more Mexicans than anybody in the history of America.
Wait, so if you would lock up some senators or something like that, then you'd be like,
if he let's put it to you this way: if some senator, like let's just say there's a January 6th committee, right?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Right. And so then you got Liz Cheney. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of fishy, like all their logs have been destroyed. You know, they don't have any of they scrubbed all their computers. All right, that's a little bit of destroying evidence, so to speak. But if it came out, look, if there was an email that said, I, Anthony Fauci, know that COVID is a hoax, but I'm being paid a ton from Pfizer to lock people in their house, then I'd go, he can go to prison. He can go to prison. And that's not you turning the military on your enemies or whatever. That is a rogue American who did something illegal. So if that is the case, then I'm fine with that. The question is...
They won't. They'll say, who would send that email? That must have been a fake email.
If you do that in the face of no evidence or little evidence, then no. So we'll see. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
That's all.
That's the thing that scared. They got to me with all this. Oh, he's going to lock up his opponents. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. That sounds like Hitlerian. Sounds
not
pretty
I
sketchy.
drank all the Kool-Aid on that 10 years ago, but then... Not now. And when I say 10 years ago, I mean that's when I was a very liberal guy, and I was like, when liberals were normal. And I haven't changed any of my positions. I'm a 2001 liberal.
Yeah,
I've just changed nothing. But it's all because they have to grow.
Yes.
So it isn't just gay rights and gay marriage. Now it's puberty blockers and cut your wieners off. And now it's not. Now it's not. Let's not go to war. Now it's choose a side in the war and warmonger it. We don't. They're not liberals anymore. They're literally psychos who trust the government.
It's exactly right. I'm liberal.
You trust the government? My parents in Seattle would say, Jeff, we don't trust Big Pharma. And now I'm a dumb hick because I don't trust Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson.
My mom would have said the same.
That's insane.
All right, let me give a plug to Jeff Dye because Adam Ray's here.
All right.
And he's got a special.
He's the best.
Love that guy. Last Cowboy in L.A. Jeff, always great to see you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys. Man,
Thanks
good to see you, brother.
God
bless.
Good to see Joe, baby.
And we'll take a break. And we'll bring in Adam Ray right after this. Qualia Senolytics, the biggest discovery of our time for promoting healthy aging. I feel 15 years younger, and you'll feel 15 years younger in a matter of months. As we age, the body accumulates senescent cells or zombie cells that cause symptoms of aging, aches, slow workout recovery, sluggish mental and physical energy. Like pruning dead leaves off a plant, Qualia Senolytics removes worn out old senescent cells and allows the rest to thrive. So that's it. You got to prune those cells. Take it just 2 days a month. It's non-GMO. It's vegan. It's gluten-free. 100-day money-back guarantee to feel fantastic. It is the best move I've ever made. Am I right, Dawson?
Resist aging at the cellular level. Try Qualia Senolytic. Go to qualialife.com/Adam for up to 50% off and use code Adam at checkout for an additional 15% off. For your convenience, Qualia Senolytic is also available at select GNC locations near you. That's QUALIA life.com/Adam for an extra 15% off your purchase. Thanks to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and parts and knowledge that you need to maintain all the repairs and keep your car running smoothly. I've always been a fan of O'Reilly. I remember when I lived up in La Crescenta in my rented house with all my roommates, and I'd work on my Isuzu Trooper. And then later on, my Toyota Supra. And I would go up to the O'Reilly up on Foothill. That's where I got all my know-how and I got all my parts. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in the store or online, so you're never in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free, and they'll do it in or out of your car, so you can bring it in, or you don't have to pull it out of your car. They'll come out and do it in the parking lot. Need your windshield wipers replaced, brake light fix, quick service? They'll help you find the right part, or they'll point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. So whether you're a car aficionado or you're a novice, you get with O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're knowledgeable, they're helpful, and best of all, they are friendly, and you can do it online or you can go in. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit them at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
I like being a comedian smoking pot. People won't chastise you for that behavior. There are jobs where you get in trouble. Sha'Carri Richardson, the Olympic marathon runner, got kicked out of the Summer Games for smoking weed. They told her it's a performance-enhancing drug. You can't smoke pot, Sha'Carri. It's a performance-enhancing drug. No weed for you, Sha'Carri. It's a performance enhancer. I was like, okay, Olympic committee, who's never done drugs before? Do you not know how weed works? I've smoked a lot of pot in my day. I've never been so high that anyone in my life has ever been like, dude, Adam, slow down.
Adam Ray is on the Adam Carolla Show.
The special, the Dr. Phil special, Adam Ray.
We did it.
Is Dr. Phil Unleashed, available on Netflix. Good to see you. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, wild. Been doing the show a year.
Yeah.
What a wild. Yeah, thank you. Very cool. Very proud of it. Hope you guys watch it.
It's great. I had the opportunity to do the live show at the Comedy Store. Had a great time. It's it's a kind of thing that I don't know, you might not think would be a great subject for comedy. I mean, but you do Dr. Phil, he's funny.
Sure.
You do funny Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
But that seems good for a 3-minute bit.
Totally.
Into
Some people would
hot
probably
talk.
still argue that.
No, you pulled it off, and
Yeah.
we're in a renaissance where there are no rules anymore.
Right.
It's just what is funny.
That's a great way to put it. I also think there is no, this country is great for like, hey man, like if you think you can, fucking go for it. The only thing stopping you really is you. Obviously, if you're trying to be like, the best painter of all time and you have no arms and legs, there's probably other things stopping you.
Right.
If you want to be the best porn star and you have
arms or legs.
Don't have arms or legs and a 2-inch cock, there's probably, God was like, this isn't your plan, Jeff.
Right.
But yeah, I think that you're right. People at the end of the day want funny, and I think it's also, as much as people keep going like, oh man, so did you pick like what funny talk show host would be the person to impersonate? I'm like, no, it happened in such a organic way, but really what I get, I guess, not defensive, but confident in is the fact that it's an accumulation, the show is, of all the things I've been doing for 17 years, right?
Right.
Which is like, because when people are like, can you believe that it's like popular? I'm like, no, I can't, because there's no, like you said, rule book, and there's also no blueprint to this business. There's no, you do this and then this happens. Mm-hmm. But what I do know is that if you spend a long time working at a bunch of things like I've done, as far as like, over 10,000 hours of podcasting and character stuff and stand up and crowd work, and that's all the show is. It's like all these tools that I've been honing, and then just put it in a way that people, I guess, dig. And it just so happens that it's an abrasive yet likable talk show host that everybody knows a little bit about, right? Like even myself, I don't think I'd seen a full Phil episode when I started doing the impression, but I'd seen enough out there, enough clips, enough banter, enough like, there's two sides to a pancake. I didn't come 90% of the way to get 10% of the information. If you lick a calf, whatever he says, you just go, yeah, everything sounds like a thing that he would say. Yeah.
I gotta say that I think, sorry, Mayhem, I'll chamber it, but you can ask it right after this. Yeah. I gotta say that I think your portrayal of Dr. Phil is come at a perfect time for a Dr. Phil renaissance, which I feel like he's having. Because I used to think of Dr. Phil like the white Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
big,
a great way to
big mustache, bald. No one really knew what they did.
Sure,
you know what I mean. Like they seemed to be everywhere, but no one ever went. Do you see that thing Steve Harvey said about? Like I mean, it was just Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
and I used to think of him as our version, the white man's version of Steve Harvey. Yeah. And then, as of late, like recently, he's broken off. He's doing interesting interviews. He's having really thought-provoking conversations. So I'm like, oh, there's a lot more to Dr. Phil. There's a lot more to him than this. And it's as you're doing him, he's getting deeper and more interesting.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, Steve Harvey, had his fuck up on the Miss America thing. He was doing his talk show. He's being really funny on Feud. So and he's a comedian. So there's he has all these avenues that make sense for what he started doing. Phil is, there's one show where it's like, you're a hermaphrodite with a PhD. Hold that thought. We'll be right back. Or, I've got two Siamese twins fighting over the same guy. Or, a cokehead child with a marijuana mom drug deal. There's just, he's a little bit more serious, I guess, in tone with like his subject matter.
But how did you get him to participate in this special?
So his son hit me up on Instagram. I think that was probably always a fantasy. I think probably, we've been doing the live show at the Comedy Store for just about a year. And I'd say probably in April or May, people started being like, you got to get Real Phil on. And it was just like, oh, yeah, that'd be the dream. And then I got Guest of the Year on Kill Tony, and they gave me an award that Dr. Phil presented to me at the Arena show in Austin.
Wow.
So that's the first time that I was like, oh, he's seen it, and I guess I'm getting the stamp of approval because Tony was like, Dr. Phil, turn around, and we got a little surprise for you. And a big screen at the HEB Arena in Austin played a video of Phil being like, it's with great pleasure and confusion that I give the Kill Tony Guest of the Year to Adam Ray as Dr. Phil. And then he pauses and goes, wait, what? And he's like, I wish I could be there, but I was eating an apple. And then he kind of gives me the award and says, congrats and whatever. And then I didn't, hit him up, but then his son hit me up and was like, my dad loves your shit. We should get him on the show. And it just took a minute of just a lot of, like you guys know, when you're trying to either book up a show or just be active without being a nuisance. And finally we got a date that worked. And then Netflix came in pretty quick and pretty late. And we got it figured out in a short amount of time. But, having him on was... I didn't talk to him up until about, I think I FaceTimed with him an hour before the show when I was in the makeup chair and kind of gave him the rundown of like, all right, the show's unscripted. Everything's just a big playground. I don't want you to have to prep anything, but I do want to hit a few beats as far as like, this is a special moment. It's a year into the show. It's like kind of going to be a big pop because it wouldn't have made sense if we did it 2 shows in because there was no build. The show has gotten... we're doing these theater shows now. We just did the Beacon in New York on Friday.
Wow.
For 3,000 people.
Wow.
Sold out 4 months ago.
Wow.
We had Jessica Kirsten, Godfrey. I posted a clip of it. If you can pull up the clip on my Instagram, Jason Biggs came and the Goo Goo Dolls and my buddy Jeremiah Watkins, who's a comedian who plays a different character every show. He did Rocky when we were in Philly at the theater there, at the Miller Theater. He did RFK 2 shows ago. And on this show, he played the Pie. And Jason Biggs and the Pie reunited.
The Pie.
And Johnny Resnick came out and played And I'd Give Up Forever while they fucked on a bed. And if you have the clip on my Instagram, it's about 2.5 minutes. It's wild. And anyway, so
well, it's great when you hit a zeitgeist saturation point where people start coming out and being attracted
Adam, the
to
energy, I was always so trepidatious about doing it in theaters because I was like, oh man, it's like maybe not going to translate because the store is so intimate.
Right.
The energy, I'm going to fly you out to one. You have to do it. It's fucking wild, dude. It's as my wife's friend said, she goes, it feels cultish because they're so excited when I come out. And the show is so fun. And so again, no real map. Or no real, nothing's scripted, but I have a map, and we always go, like we beat it out. The Pie, the curtain comes up and reveals a fireplace in the bed when Johnny comes out playing, singing, and he has a guitarist, and Jason and Jeremiah walk to the bed, and we like it was a high school production, ran through all the beats. But with Phil, I was like, dude, when I come out, I'm going to say, I don't like your fucking attitude to somebody in the crowd. You come out, reveal yourself. They're going to go nuts, as they did. We had the phones locked up. He grabs the mic after his applause dies down and goes, I don't like your fucking attitude. And then we get into it, and I go, who are you? And he goes, who the fuck are you? He goes, who am I, bitch? Who are you? And then we do a little mirror thing, and then we get into chatting. So the chatting part, as you know, is just all off the cuff, which is, I think, what's really fun about it, right? It's and then we did a game at the end, but
here's the way I think I would describe it, in that when you're dealing with sort of skilled and seasoned performers, especially comedians, like wrestlers, they don't, back in the day or even now, professional wrestlers, they don't go choreograph every single move. They've both done it so much that they know what this person's coming at them with, and they agree to some of the beats. And then in between the beats, they know because they're seasoned, And I think when you have people with a lot of improv experience, a lot of stage time, a lot of stand-up experience, you can go up there and you can know where people are going. And also you can hit the beats, not every piece of dialogue, unnecessary, because you have funny people with a lot of 10,000 hours worth of reps.
Yeah, and I think, and you can attest to this better than anybody, it's really fun to get to a point to where you go like, all right, like if I am, funny on stage, funny on the mic, I want to be put in a situation where I can really flex those muscles. And it really is a playground to be silly, but also like, like you want to bring it. And it's like the crowd that is so excited and really supportive, I think, as you can feel. I mean, you murdered, dude. But also, again, 10,000 hours plus, but you also jumped in the bit boat and you're like, I get what this is. I'm also going to be fearless, not have a filter, go along with it. And people love that too.
I think the mistake that some performers and some comedians make is they stand outside of the bit and they comment on it.
Yes.
You need to jump into the bit. You got to be in the snow globe on the paint can shaker, not standing next to it, looking at it and making snarky comments about it.
And that takes years. And I know that I definitely did not have it. It even took a convincing for myself to even do the show, because I had thoughts of like, what if it fucking, the first time at least, like, what if it bombs? And I'm at the store where I fucking worked and got passed, and all the employees are homies. And what if they're judging me because I tried this thing that didn't work? And then they're like, dude, you're a comic. What are you doing these fucking characters? I had all these thoughts, and eventually you just have to go like, who gives a shit? We're all going to die someday. Fucking, you got to throw darts, dude. And it felt, at the end of the day, I go, well, it feels fun to try. And that's what I'm going to do. Do you have that
clip?
Okay,
yes, we have the clip.
And we're talking about jumping in the bit boat.
Okay. Johnny Resnick.
So this is Jason Biggs going, you want to talk about commitment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make it loud from American Pie 1, The Pie.
So this episode comes out November 24th.
Now Biggs knows.
He knows what's happening,
Right.
And I said, how far do you want to go with the sex stuff? He goes, we got to go for it.
Oh, good. That's so awesome.
Hey.
3,000 people.
Hey. I want that too, but let's just let the moment play out the way God intended.
It's good to see you. It's good to see. How have you been?
I've been really good.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm sorry that I lost touch with you. I am.
Oh, the pies.
Jason, stop.
Wow. Scorn. Hell hath no fury like a pie scorned.
I'm sorry, okay? I really...
So this part was all scripted, at least from my vantage point. I was like, this is how we get into it. I go, then you taste him, and then you say this.
Oh, okay.
Forgot how good she tastes, honestly.
Let me refresh your memory.
Oh my God. If you showed this to Bob Hope.
What the fuck is going on right
If
now?
you resurrected Bob Hope and went, this is now
comedy.
it's called live
This is comedy, baby.
he'd be
wouldn't
like,
get it.
what the hell kind of Sodom and Gomorrah is taking over this country? I mean,
Here comes Johnny,
he'd never stop throwing up.
Oh my God.
You're the closest heaven that
He sounds so good.
That's
so great.
I wanna go home right now.
That's Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls.
All I can taste is this moment. Fuck the pie. All I can breathe is your life. When sooner or later.
Vince is going for it.
Yeah, he is.
Don't want to miss you tonight.
Come on.
Johnny Resnick, ladies and gentlemen, and Brad from the Goo Goo Dolls.
That's so awesome.
Verse number 2,
taking the
Johnny,
shirt
you got it.
All right.
When everything feels like the movie.
This is the greatest
Come
thing
on.
I've ever seen.
Bleed just to know you're alive. This might be the best show in the history of the fucking world.
God, that is awesome.
So there's, one part, and then it builds. It goes another 2 minutes, and then at one point, they are. So we had Steven, who does tech for us, built the pie costume. This was also is great about just creating shit from the ground up and then making it collaborative. Steven, who runs tech at the store, basically music up, music down for comedians, lights.
Right.
That's his job. He is a fucking wizard in other departments that nobody knows about. And we start doing the show, and then he's like, hey, do you want this? I could build this, I could build this. And so I tell him about the pie thing. He builds the pie costume. And then I go, it would really be cool if Jeremiah could squirt and cum as the pie. So he built a contraption inside, and we didn't put it on that because I didn't want to give it away. But they keep going. They're full on making out. Jason asked Jeremiah backstage before, is it cool if I kiss you? And Jeremiah's like, I mean, I think we got to just fucking go for it.
Right.
And at one point, he squirts fucking whipped cream. It goes 9 rows deep, dude.
Wow.
And Johnny Resnick is crying, laughing to where I have to take over singing the song. And then they're going for it. They're eating each other out. He's fingering while he's squirting the pie out. And then at the end, we all sing, and I give it up to Johnny and Brad, the guitarist for Goo Goo Dolls, and Jason. And then Jeremiah, the way to get in, every episode ends with a fake fight, where Jeremiah and I, whatever character he is, we fake fight. He goes to the ground with sound effects. I kick his ass, and then spotlight on me, and I go, sorry you guys had to see that, but I'm not sorry you had to feel that. And then I give my closing remarks. That's the end of the show. So we had to get into the fight. So I go, Jeremiah, I think the way to get into it is you then ask me if I want leftovers, right? So you're like, you want sloppy seconds, whatever? And I'm like, no, I'm on Adkins. And he's like, doesn't look like it, And then I'm like, what'd you say, bitch? And that's all it takes. So then as I start getting ready to get in his face, the crowd starts chanting, fuck that pie again to you. So now it's 3,000 people chanting, fuck that pie. And hey, man, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's a bitch as far as peer pressure goes. So in my head, I'm like, all right.
I've heard I've heard the fuck that strudel chant. I've been on stage many times for that, but never pie.
Oh my God, dude.
Again, let's picture Bob Hope.
Yeah.
Like sitting with a cardigan watching this, sitting in his den, just watching us and going, Bob, this is comedy.
I think he'd like it. I think
this is what a chunk of the country is into.
To vaudeville. This is vaudeville, all over again.
Dude, great call. I think it is getting back to a... look, dude, the live show element is not going anywhere, right? We saw, when COVID hit, we were performing in cars and outdoors, and people just that'll never not be a thing. Even as much as the movie industry took a hit and people were like, well, now they just want to stay home and stream Jungle Cruise. It's like, there is an aspect to seeing that's fun. I'm glad we captured that for the internet. Man, seeing it live, shit like that is just different.
Yeah, we started doing live podcasts 15 years ago, right about this time.
Oh wow!
There was no live podcast.
Yeah,
and we were sitting around here, not getting paid to do a podcast. And so Mike August, who's always looking to get paid, was like, what if we took this thing to the Irvine Improv and we just did a live stage version of the podcast. And
Mike August, there's the guy that'll fuck that strudel.
No, he'll fuck that strudel for a nickel.
He'll fuck a Pop-Tart.
So you kind of go, well, what are we doing? And I remember the first few times we did a live podcast, the audience didn't know what was going on because there were no live podcasts. But now there's live everything in all different forms, and it's fantastic. Like it's great. It's great that there is no template anymore and there are no more rules.
You said it was organic that you came to it. Dude, you're such a talented performer. You got all these different impressions. How the hell did you land on Dr. Phil?
So I got real stagnant with, I guess, just what I was, stand-up podcast audition. I guess just waiting around to be in other people's shit. So I put together this pilot called Jeremy Rising. It's on my YouTube, and I played 3 different characters. This nerdy man-boy child or adult man, and with braces and a ponytail, and an old lady medium, and then this heavy-set gay hairstylist who was the dad of the kid and left his wife to be a gay hairstylist. Fat suit. If you can find it somewhere, it's called Jeremy Rising, and then you scroll halfway through. I'm in a fat suit. I got Tom Lennon, David Koechner, Ron Funches, and Joel McHale to be in it. And it was basically like, if I could do my show, this is what it was. Me playing 3 characters in a dysfunctional family. And I had the bald fat suit thing, and Joel goes, "You look like Dr. Phil." So I started doing that. People were laughing. I go, "I should go to the Laugh Factory tonight." I think I saw you there that night. Holy shit,
yeah,
I did.
You did. That was your first night.
We have a picture of us somewhere. That was the first time I did it, and with Dr. Phil on stage, really, in the full thing, and it went well. And then it was like, okay, cool, that's a fun thing to do, but didn't really give too much thought to it. And then COVID hit, and I was sitting around trying to flex, some sort of creative muscle. And Jeremiah and I were like, let's do these lost episodes in a black box theater that we rented.
That was the night COVID hit, because I remember walking outside of the Laugh Factory that night.
And Fauci was there, and he goes, "Gotcha."
There's a TMZ chick standing there, and she was like, "It's COVID."
What are you doing performing?
Yeah, something. And I go, "Oh, it is." And I kissed her on the lips or something to prove I didn't care about COVID. And that was it. I remember that night, and then went home and never came back. It was all closed after that. I think that was pretty much COVID.
Pretty much
the end of COVID.
Yep. So then it was like, well, let's we got to keep busy, and Jeremiah has all these characters, so we did all these lost episodes, and we'd improvise for a couple hours and then put about 30-40 minutes on YouTube. So that's where I kind of got to at least find whatever version of this. And obviously here on the Carolla show, the amount of times coming on, fucking around with it, but like you said, in 2 to 3 minute doses, sometimes maybe 20 seconds, I'd just do a quick throwaway.
Right.
So this was a 2-hour, really getting to figure out, all right, what version of this guy is the guy that I am fucking around with. And then I was doing these Adam Ray and Friends shows at the store, and I wanted to do something different. And I had seen the Oh Hello show with John Mulaney and Nick Kroll, and Will Ferrell's George Bush show. Again, always in the back of my mind, a character live show would be cool. Just use the stage for something else. And then I had Burr attached to do an Adam Ray and Friends show, and I was like, all right, I have Burr. Let me see if he'd be down. I was like, I think I still have the voice note somewhere. And I go, Bill, I'm thinking about doing this live show where I play Dr. Phil. I don't really know what it looks like, but I do a monologue and some crowd work. I interview you. He's like, dude, fucking yes. Make fun of my anger issues. That sounds fucking hilarious. And so that kind of gave me a little bit of juice to either follow through with it. Because I was like, all right, if he's pumped, then now I want to really, and then it went okay. And then we did it again and again. And then consistency is key, right? So it was part of me was like, oh, maybe people were like, you gonna do another one? I was like, yeah, maybe. And then the challenge of putting it all together and is really fun and satisfying. And when I used to do YouTube videos, when YouTube hit, that was that's why I started doing this, because I was losing some joy for just the business. And I was like, when was I at my happiest? It was when I was writing a sketch, and then I'd get with these guys who now shoot the Dr. Phil show at the store for YouTube. So I've known them for 20 years. We'd shoot these sketches. They were special effects guys that worked for Lucas and J.J. Abrams, and they were like, oh, comedy sketches. This is a nice break for us. Mm-hmm. We'd shoot 9 to 6. We'd have dinner. I'd pay for them, pay them with dinner and coffees, and then we'd edit till 3 a.m. and we'd post it at 9 the next day. And that was the happiest I was, because it was collaborative and it was fun, and we're bringing all these young comics that I was coming up with to be in these videos. Some would get 20,000 in 2 days on YouTube. Some would get 2,000 over a year. But it was the creating from the ground up and the you kind of get to be your own boss type thing that was really cool. But also, yeah, so that's what the show is still. There's no end point. We have all these beats of like, it starts with a couple jokes, then the crowd work, then the guest, then some different element, then Mark Summers does Double Dare, then Boyz II Men sings and improvises this. Like on the next show in December, like, we got Jay Leno and Wayne Brady, and Rob Riggle is going to play Santa Claus, and Brad's going to play the head elf. By the way, this hasn't been announced, so I guess I'm just saying
nice.
This. Brad's going to play the head elf, and we're going to find Rob is retiring from being Santa.
Rob Riggle.
Yes.
I love that guy.
He's the fucking man. And he's, again, I pitched him the idea because he was going to just be a guest, and I go, Rob, would you mind like if you were Santa and the whole bit is like you're almost quitting, and like almost like Tim Allen took over for Santa, like we have to find a new Santa, and we'll audition someone American Idol style. And so the other Santas they're going to be auditioning are going to be Jaleel White and Tony Hawk.
Wow.
And then Harry Mack, the freestyle rapper, is going to close it out. And that's on December 3rd.
Well, when you get a little juice and you get a little traction and popularity, then it becomes the positive cycle where you start getting the Jay Lenos and the people like that become attracted to it. It's Trump and the MAGA dance, you know what I mean? It's like everyone wants to
the
be
equivalent of that,
on
sure.
the happy side.
Yeah.
Speaking of the dance, I was watching the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL guys are starting to celebrate, right?
Everybody.
There was a head slap. They called a head slap the other day, and you can find it because I don't know if I've showed this ad or not. I bring it up twice a year because it makes me laugh. It was a like tweet. It's the Deacon Jones one, and everyone tweeted me because there was a head slap, and they hadn't called a head slap in like 20 years, and everyone's like, "Oh, Deacon," and I'm like, I don't know why I get so enamored with certain things, but this piece of tape that I've shared with you guys before, but it's because there was a head slap the other night, and people sent it to me. It's kismet. Here it is.
Atkins' threat of breaking arms was the reality of the Deacon Jones head slap.
The head slap was to do two purposes. One was to give myself an initial head start on the pass rush. In other words, an extra step. Because anytime you go upside a man's head or a woman, then they have a tendency to blink their eyes or close their eyes, and that was all I needed.
Right now,
yeah, just skip over that. That's like the Connery. That's like that's actually more. Now, what do you think is worse, to skip over it like that and be very matter of fact, or Connery being like
Sean Connery?
Remember when he?
Yeah,
I think it was the Barbara Walters interview when he was like,
yes.
"Look, you could smack a woman if she deserves it.
Yeah,
don't just do it out of nowhere. She's got to say something stupid first."
See, there's a math problem for Deacon Jones, which is there's never been a weak side tackle in the NFL on the offensive line that was a woman.
Yeah.
And you're being asked specifically about your technique on the field. Now, adding a woman, if there were just a couple of women in the league back in the day, then maybe you would have some justification for that. So he got caught. I've said this many times. You guys are too young. But this whole thing, we used to call all the stuff we're experiencing now, everyone experienced 50 years ago. We just called it something else. So we have climate change now. It used to be called ecology. And they would explain to you that the earth isn't going to be inhabitable in a few years because of man and what we were doing to it. But we called it something else. And this was just called women's lib. And there was a big push in like the early 70s for women's lib. And so what would happen is when you would say something, like you would go, the pilot of my airplane, I want that guy to be smart. I want him to be sober. I want him, and they go, he or she, or she.
Yeah.
And you'd go, yeah, okay. I've never seen a chick pilot since 1973, but okay. Okay. And then you go, the president of the United States, he should have dignity. He should have he or she. So they would correct you all the time. Right. And a lot of guys got so pee-whipped into correction that I think maybe he was like, when you go upside a man's woman. Like, I think
he was trying to play both sides.
There's an argument for him being magnanimous.
Yes.
It's probably not going to work. But it's an argument. Let's hear him say it one more time because it makes me laugh.
I'm willing to say no because I feel like what you just did where he did the, he just kind of barreled through. Like, you know how you hit both people?
There's no way. What happened is he got caught cheating for a 5th time.
Yes.
His old lady was trying to block the door as he was yelling, "I'm leaving."
He right.
He did the fucking head slap, and that's what's burned into his psyche.
Neil Brennan has this great joke about where he basically says, I think it was after like Ray Rice and the elevator incident, and he's just like, football. It's another example of like football guys footballing when they're not playing football. Mm-hmm. Just like all these examples of like, dude, you have to have an off switch when you don't have the pads on.
Yeah. All right, one
The
more
head
time.
slap was to do 2 purposes. One was to give myself an initial head start on the pass rush. In other words, an extra step. Because anytime you go upside a man's head or a woman, then they have a tendency to blink their eyes,
By the
close
way,
their eyes.
it's a
and
tonal
that's all I
thing.
need.
Or a woman. That's all he had to do. He just went, or a woman. Like, in addition to. You know how you hit guys and girls upside the head?
Sure, yeah. I'm an equal opportunity beater. Yeah, I sold everyone. Oh, it's also the comedy of it, as I say all the time, is you're intersplicing game footage with an interview. So you could have easily cut a version of this that didn't involve the woman. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's the one the NFL Network runs now. Because after I screamed about it on the radio for 2 hours 15 years ago, they cut this and they cut the woman out because all you do is go, every time you go upside a man's head, and then you cut to him on the field going upside, they tend to blink their eyes. And it's easy. You can cut the woman out very easily, but they never thought. The idea that they didn't think to do that or go, Deacon, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but you said man or a woman. Like, let's just try.
Who's directing that piece?
Nah, they knew. They knew. That was something that they were like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Sean
Leave that
Connery directed that. I don't know if you knew that.
Just get it again, but that time you felt like you felt bad about it. Say it a little more matter-of-factly.
Yes, celebrate a song.
Celebrate it. Everyone deserves to be hit. It's equal opportunity.
God, it's the greatest clip ever assembled. And it also was the kind of thing for me that I was like sitting home in the middle of the night and saw this and like stood up and went, this is the greatest thing ever. But I realized it'd been aired several thousand times and no one had said anything about it.
Do you have YouTube rabbit holes? Do you have clips like this that you'll, if you're on at a flight delay or you're on a road trip and you're not driving, do you have like, let me go down a little rabbit hole of soldiers coming home early to surprise their kids or dads getting in fights at Little League games in the stands?
The one that'll get me, well, actually, there's 2 that'll get me. One is black people reaction to videos. Like they'll have the Righteous Brothers singing Unchained Melody or something.
Yeah.
And like 15-year-old black kids go, what the fuck? No way!
There's a
right. That one's good. And then they'll have crazy fights from the 60s where they'll talk about some Cuban guy who always drank and smoked a cigarette in the ring and stuff and had 107 professional fights or something. They had some crazy footage of some weird character from back in the day. That'll get me. That'll get me sucked in.
Bum fights. Remember when that started?
Oh yeah.
There was bum fights, and then speaking of bum, there was the bum that got a Kraft mac and cheese voiceover deal.
Oh, that guy, the
golden
black
voice
guy.
Yeah. Remember he came outside somebody's window like a buffalo at a petting zoo? He just shoved his face in the and he was like, do you have $5?
Right.
And they were like, you have a beautiful voice.
Right.
He's like, I'll just take the $5. I don't need the compliment. They're like, get away, you stink. But I'll call macaroni.
Yeah, that guy. Then there was also the greatest mac and cheese one is the one, I mean, we should be playing it about this time of year anyway, because
it's the holiday
it's
spot?
the black mama. Let's face it, blacks are better at this than we are. There's a reason there's
making
more
macaroni
blacks
and cheese?
reacting negatively to input.
Sure.
I mean, there is one, I was looking at one yesterday. I tweeted it. It was a Spirit Airline one. Am I the only one who saw the Spirit Airline kind of throw down? Employee on employee bashing. I liked it yesterday. Okay, this woman is saying what I'm always saying, which is when you bring mac and cheese or you bring stuffing or you bring turkey or you bring whatever it is, we'll do mac and cheese first. Just do the best version of it, but don't start adding candied walnuts and golden raisins and shit like that.
Who does that?
Well, let's listen to Mama.
We told you don't put that shit in the macaroni and cheese, but you insist on putting it. So since you want to do things your damn way, we gonna do shit our way. We getting ready to go upstairs and go to sleep while you clean up all this shit for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you, but guess what? This shit ain't fair that we couldn't even get a decent thing of macaroni and cheese. We got to wait to go back to Goose for Auntie Karen to make us some damn macaroni and damn cheese. Because you decided to do some bullshit you didn't see off the damn internet. Don't experiment on damn Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. You experiment by your damn self.
Why have I not seen this?
Hell, don't try it with us. We don't want that shit. Auntie Karen gave you the damn recipe. But you chose to do shit on your own.
I feel this way. Do not experiment on Thanksgiving. Do that shit on your own, bitch.
That is a T-shirt, a bumper sticker, and a way of life.
That's
Do
right.
shit on your own. Everyone expects what has been known and been established.
I want like mac and cheese. Here's what I want. I want a better version of what Colonel Sanders does. I feel that way with coleslaw. I feel that way with mac and cheese. That's what you get. Do an experiment, not on some shit you learned on the internet.
Yeah.
And you fucked up your old school family with it. All right, the Spirit Airlines throwdown. Have you guys not seen this?
No.
This is a woman who works at Spirit Airlines.
By the way, how many times do you think the sentence "the Spirit Airlines throwdown" has been uttered in the history of Spirit Airlines?
It's rarely employee on employee. This looks like a senior member of the staff and a younger one. Let's see it. Listen.
Go suck another dirty dick. Don't play with me. Do not play with me.
She gave her a fucking titty
I'm not
bounce.
the one nor the two. You're not the one or the two. Let's go. You ain't got shit. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Name my ticket.
I just see my ticket.
Like I said, keep my fucking name out your mouth, bitch.
Mine is always in
There's customers filming this.
Back the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here before I slap the shit out of you.
You're not gonna smack shit.
Try me.
You think you're fucking up? I'm not trying to.
Try me.
Try me, There's
People like waiting in line. They're missing a flight. Guy's transporting an organ. You know, he's probably got a cooler with an organ in it. And he's like,
By the way, she's still trying to that's the best part. She's like, you suck a donkey dick and get out my face before I smack you with the backside of my hand. So you're seeing 5F, by the way. You're seeing 5F. Do you mind a window or an aisle?
I said what I said. Please stick to me like you want it.
I'm so sorry. Do you mind having an aisle seat?
Go suck another dirty dick.
So put the bag on the scale.
Yeah. Can I get your ID one more time?
she's in her computer. There's someone clearly filming her.
Oh, she knows.
I will say she went right back to the computer.
She did.
I'm not the one of the two, bitch. You tried me 2 times. I want you to do it a third.
I like that she's yelling across the airport to suck a dirty dick.
I'm not the one or the two, bitch.
I love a new way to just power slam. Like I used to see those Yo Mama Snaps books. There was a few kids that bought them and brought them to school. It might have been my first taste of stand-up comedy, where it was like, your mama's so fat when she sits around the house, she sits around the house.
Right.
She's so fat she sat on a quarter and squeezed a booger out of George Washington's nose. She's so ugly she trick-or-treats over the phone. And I would always go a little harder in the paint just to kind of take things up a notch. You start seeing kids gather around, and I was like, "Your mama's so fat, your dad left. Now he's fucking my in shape on, and that's why I got these cool Jordans, and you're rocking those dirty flip flops that came with a bag of $2 Chuck." But like the insult game is always it's to each his own. So for her to say "suck a dirty dick" instead of just "suck a dick,"
right?
Is very.
The modifier.
The modifier. Like Delta Airlines is probably just, if there's a Delta fight, it's probably like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Just real direct.
Right.
But Spirit is off the beaten path. They go to the beat of their own drum.
Yes. Yeah.
The artsy airline.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a more urban, more flavorful.
What they lack in plane mechanics and safety,
like
they make up for
and reclining seats.
Right. and snacks that are real food and haven't expired. They make up for in I think just sparring verbally.
The Spirit airline insults work their way up to the Delta and then American. It goes, it's born in the streets and brought up to
1,000%. By the way, they call it Spirit Airlines because your spirit leaves your body before you board the plane.
What people who were just listening didn't see is she gave a triple D booby smackdown to the chick and knocked her onto the conveyor belt.
That should have been a game, set, match.
Right. And the chick who got knocked on the conveyor belt should have stayed on the conveyor belt and just gone off into the bowels
Well, that's
of the
a real
airport.
gangster move, and just let that belt take you all the way around the airport. And by that time, Triple D Booby Bounce has forgotten about your whereabouts, and here you come. You know what I'm saying? Here you come all the way back around, and you're like, I'm not the one or the two. How about this? 1, 2.
I would like to see the Clash of the Titans, which is the Eat a Dirty Dick Spirit employee takes on Mac and Cheese traditionalist on a real fucking verbal throwdown.
On our way
Dawson,
to Thanksgiving.
You got something to mash up a little bit here because I don't know who would win that Clash of the Titans. You know what I mean? Both formidable. Both very vocal, strong-willed women. I think you'd have to say with strong opinions.
I actually don't know who I'd put money on but
that's how you know it's a great matchup.
Mac and Cheese gal felt like family was around, so she didn't want to get physical. Whereas Spirit Airlines employee was like, I don't give a fuck if you tape this and send it to my family. In fact, send it to my family so that they know who I am outside of the house.
Or the two.
I'm not the one or the two. Now, you do bring up a good point. Employee on employee is rarely seen.
Rarely seen.
I mean, we've seen countless people losing their minds at the airport.
Yes.
And you want to talk about a YouTube rabbit hole. I mean, those are great.
Yeah.
There are people. I have seen people scream the N-word at white people at a Southwest Airlines desk.
I think Pac-Man Jones had a few fist fights in airports,
of course
too.
He did.
Like, I've seen real Donniebrooks go down either. And it's always weird, timid, and unsure whitey who has to sit around like, do I join the fray? Do I pull the guy off the guy? Do I film the chick?
Well, you always either watch it or you film it. You stand back. Don't get involved. We've all learned our lesson.
Keep the windows rolled up. Do not feed the animals.
It's also like, that person is never going to win because eventually airport security will show up. Although it seems like in many of these videos, when the employee's getting accosted, they just the security is kind of like, they got it.
Right.
They never show up until like 12 minutes in.
Well, also, you have to know that this woman, when she's in the heat of battle, when you intervene, you're next.
Yeah.
Like you're not the voice of authority. You got a target on your back.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this question, thinking of a joke I did that I've been doing. I frequently drive to the club or the theater, wherever I'm playing. I go, I'm going to do this joke. And I go, no one's going to like it. Yeah. But I kind of like it. If I'm fucking doing it. and it
sounds like you're a comedian.
It almost never works. But do you have a joke where you go, I like it, they're not gonna like it, but I like it and I'm doing it anyway?
Sure, yeah. I mean, one of my first jokes was that, where I'd say, man, it's great to be here. Glad you guys came out tonight. Everybody needs to laugh. The show actually feels a lot like my Little League games because my dad's not here. I wish you got that, but actually you got that. Close your mouth, chuckle to yourself.
No, you know why? You know one thing I've realized? I've done a few mom jokes, right? Where I go.
They felt bad for me, which is
oh
the
my god!
reaction.
I love some of my horrible mom jokes. I go, my mom. This is a true story. My mom died a couple years ago, and no funeral, no wake, no nothing. And I said to my stepdad, John, I go, what happened to Mom? Like, where are they? Where is she? What did we do with her? And he went, oh, she donated her body to UCLA Medical. And I said, she did? And he goes, yeah. And I go, what were they studying? Mothers who never loved their sons?
So funny.
And nobody, they just go, oh.
Sorry. I feel bad for you if you don't find the joy in that joke.
Yeah, it's
so
dark.
funny.
I like it.
I go, the only thing that was good about COVID is I didn't have to go see my mom because she's old and she's paranoid and she's a Newsom voter. So I didn't want to have to go see her, which was great. Use as an excuse to not see her. But she died, but I was this close to convincing her that COVID could be spread over the phone. And again, I was just like,
yeah.
And I realized mom jokes, parental, listen, it's my mom.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to make fun of her.
Make the joke, yeah.
I can make the joke.
Yeah.
And they just go, I would say, Dennis Prager is a true story. Dennis Prager, conservative talk show host, wrote a book when he was like 21. And he said to me, when we were doing a speaking thing one day, he goes, I had a book sale thing, signing, and there's a big cardboard cutout of me, like a 6'5" me. And my mom brought it home because she was so proud. And she put it in the entry hall of her house. And then he looked at me and he goes, "Does your mom have a picture of you, big picture of you in her house?" And I go, "My mom doesn't have a picture of me in her head." And the audience just goes, "Oh."
God,
and I'm like, "Oh, fuck you, then I'm not doing any of these jokes." But I'll give you one from Big Bear last weekend at the Comedy Festival. The audience just went, "What the fuck?" No. I got in the car. This is true. I got in the car and I was driving to Big Bear and I had the 70s station on. And it was Tony Orlando, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. And I think people thought initially they thought the guy was coming home from Vietnam or something, but he was a prisoner. It's like, I've done my time now. And you listen to the lyrics, and it's a guy who is in prison, and he wants to know if his woman is still with him, and they pull up like in the prison bus, like it's the whole thing, the whole damn bus cheered, like he's on a prison bus that's taking him back to his house, and he's saying, "If you still love me, you'll let me know by putting a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, and if not, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me," because he's a criminal, And then it's a very joyous, happy ending when he pulls up and sees 100 yellow ribbons around the old oak tree. But what people don't know about that song is why he was in jail. He viciously raped a 9-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Repeatedly. Her daughter.
Dark.
Her daughter.
Super dark.
Viciously.
Oh, my God.
And repeatedly. So it's not such a happy song, is it, anymore? And everyone just looked at me and went, and I was like, "You thought it was some kind of white-collar crime. It wasn't. It wasn't a Martha Stewart thing. He viciously and repeatedly raped a 9-year-old. And the whole audience just went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I can see why they did that.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta do your research. Oh man.
Super dark, Ace. Goddamn, man.
I used to do a joke about that would get some groans where I would talk about Brad Williams, our boy Brad Williams, and I would say just about how my nephew first met him. My nephew, a 9-year-old, meeting a little boy meeting a little person for the first time. I go, "Brad's a great comic, one of my best buds." I go, "He could be here tonight. Check under your chairs before you leave." And that would get people going, "Oh, like you're putting him down." And I remember when I told Brad about it, he was like, "That's funny. Why?" He's like, "I hate when fucking people feel bad." He's like, "You got to go harder next time and say I'm under the chair and say actually if he's not in the chair, he could be in the tree. If he's not in the tree, he's at your house making cookies, whatever." But yeah,
Keebler. Yeah,
By the way, check out Brad's special Starfish on YouTube.
Brad's great. All right, Dawson. Now you're on the clock.
I know, I'm working.
You have it. How's it going?
He's doing the mashup
I
now.
finally got one that wasn't bleeped on the internet, so that delayed me for a second. So now I'm finally working on it.
Who's going to win this clash of the Ebony Titans? They're both about the same. They're both heavyweight. The cruiser to heavyweight, right? They're both in the same age range. This isn't Tyson fighting a Paul brother.
Yeah.
These are both seasoned heavyweight veterans.
Well, on one hand, the titty bump technique is excellent. On the other hand, Mac and Cheese really got something, some charisma.
Where is the Spirit Airline titty bumper went back to the sack of dirty dicks a few times.
Yeah, she did.
The Mac and Cheese later was a little more nuanced. Like she said, "Shit you learned on the internet, don't be experienced." And there was a punitive phase because she said, "You clean the kitchen, bitch. I'm going to bed."
Yeah.
She told her, "You fucked up the mac and cheese. Now you can fucking deal with the dishes. I'm going upstairs with my glass of Chardonnay."
That was more open and shut case. Spirit Airlines kind of left the door open. You want to smack? My hand's right here.
Well, you guys are totally ignoring the fact that titty bump resulted in a conveyor belt sit down. Like it fully happened. Yeah. There was more to it than just a threat of violence. It was actual violence, albeit titty related.
Also, what is the dread level for the younger chick going into work knowing her supervisor is always going to be there? Like I didn't like Mike Stramat when I worked construction. He was a foreman. He was a prick, but I could kind of go avoid him a little bit. I wasn't just standing by a conveyor belt with him for 9 hours.
Yeah, that's got to be a wrap. You got to become a an American girl at that point. Also, what are the spirit benefits where you really like? Is that job really worth the
ones or the
twos? Getting fired from a shitty job is not a bad thing. I don't know why people do that all the time. Like when they do the thing where they go, this guy's working at McDonald's. He's doing it for slave wages. Like, okay, don't do it then.
Yeah.
I worked there.
Yeah.
I got paid nothing. I was 16. Oh, we have Pac-Man Jones fighting. Have you seen Pac-Man thrown down an airport?
No.
Hell yeah.
Former NFL cornerback, Pac-Man Jones. Yeah. Now, what says black? What says more? By the way, it's a security guard.
Wait a minute.
Let me ask
Pac-Man's
you.
not in the orange vest, right?
No, that's security. I like when security gets involved. Let me say this to Mayhem.
Oof.
Yeah. Let me watch this. Wait a minute. Oh, this overhead. Oh,
He doesn't like the technique.
Oh, he got him, huh?
Yeah, the technique is poor. Now, initially, the jabs were really ruling the day, but Pac-Man, once he got his physicality involved.
It is funny that, like, even when you're not boxing or UFC fight, like, fighting is just always gets to a point to where it is just flailing and wailing.
Yeah, rudimentary.
I used to live on La Brea and Melrose, and there was a Latina nightclub next to a psychic place that was a front, I think, for a Russian
I know the
job.
place.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, no. You knew what I was going to say. And then there was a Chipotle right in between them, and I lived right on the corner. And my roommates and I would smoke blunts and sit out on the patio and watch when the club let out the drunken mayhem that would ensue.
Oh, yeah,
and
man.
one night we had to go back inside because we were, innocent bystanders. Like we were witnesses. Fights between two gals.
Two gals.
One, which then two Suburbans pulled up, and more gals got out, and there were probably 6 gals fighting. And at one point, one girl ripped off another girl's wig, weave, what have you, and another girl grabbed a girl by her actual hair and extensions and swung her around.
Wow!
Let go. She body slammed into the car. Guy came out, and then I think put the girl in the headlock. Or like held her up like this, and then the other girl started wailing on her, and then another car came up, and a really big guy got out, and everybody got in and left.
Wow!
And that really, really big guy, Mike Tyson. Should have let you have it.
What? Okay. What says? I'm going to ask you this, Mayhem.
Yeah.
Sight unseen.
All right.
What says this guy's black?
What?
Fist fight in an airport.
Yeah.
Or starting cornerback in the NFL. What would go? This guy is definitely a brother.
Welcome back to I don't feel comfortable answering that.
No, I'm going cornerback because, dude, getting a fight in the airport is universal.
No, I cornerback is near 100%. Airport's just in the mid 80s in terms of ethnicity. All right, Dawson, we're gonna bring it. You got something? One of his favorite. Dawson and his mashups, man.
Yeah.
We love them.
Fucked up the macaroni and cheese. You're cleaning up all this shit by yourself.
Do not play with me, because I'm not the one nor the two. You're not the one or the two.
We told you don't put that shit in the macaroni and cheese, but you insist on putting it.
Like I said, keep my fucking name out your mouth, bitch.
So since you want to do things your damn way, we gonna do shit our way.
Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here before I slap the shit out of you.
Don't experiment on damn Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. You experiment by your damn self.
Fuck out of here, you dirty bitch.
Hell, don't try it with us.
Go suck another dirty dick.
But you chose to do shit on your own. Messed our shit up.
That felt personal too.
I
Suck a dirty dick.
I cannot declare a winner.
Me neither, bud. That's a draw.
Right down the
That's a
draw.
majority draw.
I'm going to need to see another fight. I'm going to need to see another confrontation from both them. I'm going to need to see somebody fuck up potato salad on Hanukkah, and I'm going to need to see another employee get titty bumped onto the conveyor belt.
You're right.
And see how they respond.
We need more footage.
Yeah.
Because we can't decide.
Yeah.
All right, let me give a plug. Adam Ray. Super funny show, I know, because I was there.
Your episode is on YouTube and crushing, by the way.
Great episode.
Thank you, brother.
I love it. Adam Ray is Dr. Phil Unleashed, available on Netflix as we speak. Go out and check it out. God bless Adam Ray.
Love you, bud.
Also, Jeff Dye out there, Last Cowboy in L.A. It's so nice to see everyone having success. I'm going to be everywhere. Oxnard, Houston, Phoenix, Brookville, New York. Just go to AdamCarolla.com. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Jeff Dye and Adam Ray and Mayhem Miller saying mahalo.